dose of reality radio. It starts right now. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am, of course, Clay Edwards, coming at you live here on 103.9 WYAB. Sorry about the little pause there. I got caught slipping, as they say. I've been known to do once or twice, if you believe things you see on the internet. Went to the restroom and came back, and here I am. So let me reintroduce myself. My name is Clay Edwards. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We are live on the 50,000 megawatt flamethrower. We call it 103.9 WYAB. We're streaming worldwide here on the Mazda of Jackson live stream over on Facebook, X, YouTube, Rumble, and Twitch. You can find it at SaveJXN or at Clay Edwards Show, depending upon where you choose to look. Here in the studio with us this morning, we got a couple special guests. I'll get to them here in just a second. And today is a 3-hour spectacular. Yep, that's right, 3 hours. I have been asked to, and I have accepted the challenge of filling in for our good friend in the third hour here on Mondays, Mr. Matthew Bishop. He was going to be out today and sent me a text yesterday. Said, "Hey, Clay, can you fill in?" I said, "As a matter of fact, I can. It's a Monday morning Raw. Like wrestling. It's a 3-hour spectacular. We can make it happen. We have the technology. We have the Rolodex. We have the phones. We have the friends to make it an entertaining 3-hour show. What we're going to do here this morning, we got 2 guests in the first hour, 1 in the second, and none in the third. I'm going to fly solo in the third hour and do a few things different. Maybe get a couple things off my chest. We'll see how it all goes. Hey, today is my birthday, 49 years old. If you want to wish your boy happy birthday, the best way you can do that is go by clayedwardsshow.kit.com. That's K-I-T, clayedwardsshow.kit.com, and sign up for my mailing letter, my newsletter. Drop your email off. I'm just trying to compile an email list so I can stay in touch with you guys if I am to get canceled, fired, or anything else that involves me not being on social media or on the radio any longer. I always have the email list. I think those things are worth their weight in gold, and that would be the best birthday present you can give me. That, of course, or go by buyfafo.com and grab a shirt. All right, man, here in the studio with me this morning, as we're powered by the free testosterone screenings out at Live Better Men's Health and Wellness. You can text Clay to 601-613-9337. 601-613-9337. Text my name, CLAY. You're going to get a free testosterone screening. But, man, it's so much more than just free testosterone screenings out there. It's concierge medical services. Basically means you're VIP. You don't have to go be around sick people just to get your medicine filled. Or if you are sick, you probably don't even have to come into the to the doctor's office. You can just text Scott McCullough, tell him what's wrong with you, go over it. If he feels confident that that is, in fact, the issue, he's going to call you over some medicine. You don't even have to go into the dang hospital or to the doctor's office unless you need to come in and get some shots, stuff like that. Because, I don't know about you all, but I don't like going to the doctor like anybody else because, A, I don't want to find out something's wrong with me, but B, I don't want to go be around sick people when I'm not sick. Just to get my regular meds refilled, right? Like I shouldn't have to go get my sleeping meds refilled and sit beside somebody with COVID or the flu or sinus infection or anything else that may be contagious or airborne, right? But I just wanted to get my dang medicine refilled, and here I am having to get sick to do it. You don't have to do that out there at Live Better Men's Health and Wellness. You can check them out online, livebettermen.com, or again, just text or call 601-613-9337. All right. Here in the studio with me, making his return to the Clay Edwards Show, triumphant return. We have our co-host here, somewhat, our internet browser there, guy that makes sure you guys are staying straight on the interwebs. We have Mr. Creston Birch, 30-year law enforcement, Clinton Police, just retired back in June, sitting in. We're trying to get him a show launched here at WYAB, so we're introducing him via my show. And I like having somebody to chop it up with, so it makes my life a little bit easier. And the man next to him, making his triumphant return, is Mr. Zach Service, former mayoral candidate for the city of Jackson, community organizer, activist, all-around good dude, very involved in all the things going on in and around the city, rapper, music guy, does a lot of stuff, man. He's a fun follow on social media. A lot of people, Zach, I think a lot of people are just grifters.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like a lot of people are grifters, and then there's people that you get a vibe. You say, you know what, this guy's actually, he does it his own way, but it's definitely not a grift. Like I really think you're the real deal. I think you mean the things you do. I think you're truly passionate about the city. We don't always see eye to eye on a lot of stuff, but I think you're well intentioned. And
yes, I have a song called "Good Intentions."
Yeah. The road to hell, my friend. But
that's what they say.
The road to
At
hell.
least it's paved, right? I can't even get to Jackson.
Absolutely. Well, you got to go around Jackson to get to it. You got to go around Jackson to get to it. Or some would say that Jackson is the destination.
Right. Yeah, we're trying to change that one lawsuit at a time, I guess.
I guess so, man. I guess so. So you've got a lawsuit against Jackson. And you know what? And this is something I do agree with you on. You were wearing, I'll tell you what, once you set it up, tell people what the lawsuit is, tell people how it happened.
Yeah, man. So the short version of it is I was campaigning, of course, for mayor, and I was wearing my campaign t-shirt because I had been out knocking doors all day. So, I had an easy choice to make. I could choose to go home, change, and be late for the council meeting and maybe miss my chance for public comment. Or I could just wear my shirt and let the cards, what is it, chips fall where they may. I don't gamble, so I don't get the term right.
I've used both, where the chips fall, let the cards fall where they may, because 52 card pickup.
Right, yeah. I play cards, so I was like, okay, screw it. It's 6 p.m. The polls are closed. It's only absentee voting anyway. I'm just gonna go. I'm not trying to miss public comment. So I get in there.
And this is on election day.
No, so this is the last. This is the last council meeting. This was the last council meeting before election day, and originally they were supposed to have another meeting on election day, and then they postponed it because of the election.
And this was mayoral election,
and council. Yeah, so I get there, and they let me in. The police that are always at the door. They let me in. We chopped it up. Got a good relationship with them. And then I go into the council chambers. I sit there. Nobody bothers me. No one says, "Hey, man, you can't be in here with that shirt on." So the whole time, all is well, right? And I get up to the podium, and that's when it all hell breaks loose.
Yeah. I went through the work last night and actually screenshot that photo, and apparently I didn't push it over to Restream, so I was going to show people the photo of them kind of escorting you out in the shirt.
Oh yeah. But I think all the Clarion Ledger articles that covered the story use that photo. You could probably see it there.
Yeah, we'll have it in the next break. How about that? We'll have it after the next break. I'll get it queued up there. So they escort you out. What did the shirt say?
The shirt said on the front, it said Zach Service for Mayor of JXN. And I could have argued that JXN is not a government entity, so therefore it's not a campaign t-shirt.
That's the first thing I was thinking. It's more of a fashion statement.
But I really wasn't trying to argue with them. I was really trying to be chill about it. I didn't want to get into a debate. I was just there to use my 3 minutes. But yeah, it said Zach Service for Mayor of JXN, and then on the back it had accessibility, accountability, affordability, and then my website, right, for my campaign. But you couldn't see that on the camera. As a matter of fact, until I turned my shirt around, no one could see it. It was facing the wall, So yeah, that's all that was on the shirt.
And they felt like that would give you some kind of unfair advantage.
Yeah, well, there is a very unconstitutional interpretation of what do they call them? Polling location law. So state law for polling location says you can't be within 150 feet of a polling location distributing campaign materials, right? Or trying to talk to people and campaign, right?
And the city hall a polling location?
So it was a location for absentee, and then I think at some point on election day, I think it was an actual voting location, but absentee voting ended at 5 p.m. that day. And 6 p.m. is when the council meeting started. And the Secretary of State's office told the news when they reached out and explained that law, that's not an active polling location after 5, so that law does not apply. But City Hall chose to not only apply that law, but they chose to make their policy that you can't even wear a shirt. Even though the law does not say you can't wear a shirt, it says you cannot distribute material. That it doesn't say I can't, because that's free speech. What I wear on my body is free speech.
I'm a words on shirt guy.
Yeah.
Like I like to, obviously, right, my FAFO stuff and all that, but it goes back to my being a big wrestling fan. Austin 316, like your shirt was an extension of your personality, so to say. I'm still that way to this day. I'm wearing on the shirt today. And I mean, this was a personal gift from him. It was pretty cool. It was first time I wore the shirt, and you can't buy these, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so I'm a message on shirt guy. I get it. Mm-hmm. And it ain't always, and also a self-promotion guy.
Right.
Like I have no shame when it comes. And I told, the other day I was saying, I was telling people, if you're going to start a podcast, if you're going to become a content creator, the first thing you have to do is take any shame you have, crumble it up, throw it out the window for better or for worse, right? Yep. Like you cannot be afraid to put your face out there. And there's still some things I don't like to do that I find cringy. Like if y'all think it's cringy, wait till you see the stuff that I don't do that's cringy. But yeah. But anyway, my point being is I get it where you're at with it. And I think that it being after the polls are all closed, it's an hour after. What difference does it make? And also, is this thing being equally enforced? That would be my big question, because you know how I feel. There's a big group of people in Jackson, the majority demographic, that get away with a whole lot that nobody says anything to. But when somebody else is trying to run or has embarrassed the culture, they want to make sure whatever the full punishment is, they want to make sure, oh, now we suddenly care about laws. Now we suddenly care about ordinances and code. God knows the code violations that get ignored and selectively enforced around here.
I talk about that all the time because, you know, from living so long and I'm on my way out of Ward 3. Because we bought some land in a different ward and it's much closer to WIB actually. Nice. So we're just trying to figure out if we'll have a chance at them land. We really want to put a manufactured home so that we can save up for the real build we want to do, because there's a couple of adjacent parcels we want to get. But our Councilman Stokes violates the signage ordinances every holiday. Yes. With his signs on the utility poles. And a lot of people, you know, they think that I do stuff for just clicks and likes, but I follow the biblical order for correction or for an offense, right? Which says first you go to that person, then you go with witnesses, then you air it out if still nothing happens, right? So I called, before I ever said a word on social media or in public, I called Councilman Stokes and I talked to him about his signs, and he tried to play like he didn't know what the law said. And he said, it was no different than a lost dog sign. I said, that is also illegal, according to the city code.
No difference than what?
A lost dog sign.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, well, that's still illegal, right? So that's not an excuse, but you're a council person. You're the leader. You're supposed to set the example. And it's supposed to carry a fine and possible jail time, because it's two different codes. It violates the business code and it violates the public utility code for signs and ordinances. He didn't care. Got off the phone. After that, never got invited to another town hall meeting. Didn't even get invited to the one he did 2 minutes from my house. Not another youth rally. Never handed me the mic again. And then suddenly he's got something to say at the council meeting. Now everybody thinks about the T-shirt, right? This lawsuit. It's not just about when they kicked me out under threat of arrest. It was also because at the very next council meeting, under Horton's administration, or the next one after that, but I believe it was the very next one, they just Councilman Griselle, the same one who said JPD, escort him out, is the same one who's now president in that time. And his first day as president, he interrupts me while I'm talking to them about their city clerk, Angela Harris. She's the one who tried to keep all the Republicans from qualifying. She's the one who wouldn't give me a Republican packet when I decided I might want to change and have a better chance at getting hurt in the primaries. Thank God I didn't do that, though. But I in my mind, I thought I might have a better shot at getting heard. Then I called the Republican Party and they said, we have no interest in Hinds County elections. So I was like, shoot. So anyway, she tried to stop me from getting, she wouldn't give me the ballot, not the ballot, the qualifying packet. She wouldn't give it to me. She denied it to me. And then finally, after that, I was getting word from people inside the administration who were city employees that they were being like harassed and discriminated against by Angela Harris and her staff.
Shocker.
Right. Wouldn't see that one coming. So I started calling it out and saying, hey, like, begging Mayor Horn, don't reappoint this person. These are all the strikes against her. Griselle stops me in the middle of my comments and says, well, hold on, I'm sorry, I got to interrupt you. I can't allow you to disparage a city employee like that. I encourage you to take it up with Mayor Horn and his administration. And I said, I appreciate your encouragement, but this is my public comment time. It's my right to free speech. And he said, well, I just can't allow you to do that. And then I got a little more bold on time. I said, yes, sir. And it's on video. Yes, sir, you can. It's my constitutional right. Thank you, sir. And then I turned to the lady and I said, may I please have my time added back for that interruption? And he said, you get 10 seconds. And then I went on to the other thing I was trying to get to, which was smoking in public parks, you know. So yeah. I wasn't trying to be rude.
Where do you stand on the smoking in public parks?
Well, I don't smoke and I don't like smoke. So I think it's wrong because kids are around, right? And it's like it's law, you know. I know you.
I wasn't sure because I've never smoked a cigarette in my life, so I wasn't.
Well, and my biggest thing was they're smoking weed with babies in the car right next to them, and I was like, look, you want to smoke marijuana in your privacy of your home where you're at? Cool, do what you want to do. I ain't your judge, you know. It smells bad to me, but hey, it's better than cigarettes. I'll tell you that. What it does to your body. but you're in front of us kids, you're breaking the law, and you drove here.
Yeah, then there's the whole DUI part.
So I mean, you gotta drive back. So I was like, that's my biggest issue, because I over in my park, in Manhattan Park, they were doing that all the time, man.
I had a conversation about this very thing about the cigarettes yesterday. We were talking about, it's kind of funny how there were so few people smoke cigarettes anymore. It's like you really just don't see it too often, or they've been driven into their homes or their own backyards and whatnot. You just rarely see people outside smoking too much anymore. But the marijuana smoking out in public, that's one of my biggest drawbacks to it being legalized across the board. And I'm a do as you are person. Like if it went to a vote today, I would vote for adult use.
Yeah,
I would. Not that Clay Edwards are going to partake in it, but right. I would vote for adult use because, hey, we all have our vices. You leave mine alone, I'll leave yours alone. But here's what I wouldn't vote for. The caveat would be no outside. No public, shared public place, smoking, parks, sidewalks, in front of businesses. But if you want to buy it, smoke it in your house. I would say smoking in your car because your car is an extension of your home. But you're at the mercy of that.
Smell that weed when you get
that DUI. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, Sean Yerkron did a whole show about this recently. For whatever reason, it became a big fuss after Trey Spillman, Rankin County County Attorney, made a post just reminding people like, hey, you can get a DUI for smoking, for driving under the influence of marijuana. We have a DUI specialist here who's taught the classes and given out thousands over the years, I'm sure. Creston, 2 minutes, or I'll tell you what, let's hold it, come back. And I would like to get your thoughts on that very thing. You're open for such a wide array of topics this morning.
Absolutely.
Cool. Yes, I got some other questions I want to ask you too. I want to come back. I don't want to blindside you, so I'll tell you now. I want to come back to this Metro Center stuff.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah, that's
my
whole situation.
I've had my suspicions about this since day one, and you can debunk or confirm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, we got Zach Service here in the studio with me. We got my good friend Mr. Creston Birch. You got Clay Edwards. If you want to text the show this morning, the Ellis Autoplex text line is 769-241-1944. 769-241-1944. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show, 103.9 WYAB.
Want your phones to ring away. Get your name on the airwaves with the Clay Edwards Show today. Tell the town who you are while they're driving in their cars. If you want your business to grow, advertise on the Clay Edwards Show. Contact info at WYAB.com. Contact info at WYAB.com.
Remember when you had energy after work? When your mind was sharp, your confidence was high, and getting older didn't feel like giving up? That guy's still in there. Live Better Men's Health and Wellness helps men fight fatigue, low testosterone, brain fog, and low motivation with customized treatment plans built for real life. No waiting forever, no awkward lectures, just answers, support, and a plan. Living better starts now. Live Better Men's Health. Visit livebettermen.com today.
Need equipment that works as hard as you do? Come see me, Noah Sullivan, at H&H Chief Sales in Carthage. Thousands of you have already made the short drive to see us at H&H for the state's best deals on CM truck beds, Big Tex trailers, Wells Fargo enclosed trailers, and even rugged Candy electric utility vehicles. At H&H, our equipment is built for the farm, job site, hunting camp, or anywhere around your property. So visit me, Noah Sullivan, at H&H Chief Sales on Highway 35 North in Carthage, or online anytime at hhchiefsales.com.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Are you craving a home-cooked meal without the hassle? Come over to McBee's Bar and Grill in Ridgeland for their Blue Plate lunch specials. Served up every weekday, at McBee's it's a different entree every day. Chicken spaghetti on Mondays, beef tip Tuesday, pork chop Wednesday, spaghetti Thursday, and catfish Fridays. And McBee's Blue Plate lunch comes with 2 classic Southern sides and cornbread or a roll. McBee's specials are served every weekday from 11 to 2. McBee's, buzzing the res since 1982.
Who said you can have too much of a good thing? Not at Mazzo Jackson. With rates as low as 0% with approved credit. Come test drive the all-new, fully redesigned 2026 Mazda CX-5. That's more room for you and your cargo, making the third-generation CX-5 the best yet. Mazda's best-selling SUV also comes with 1-year maintenance included on your new vehicle purchase. Mazda Jackson still specializes in certified pre-owned vehicles with hassle-free trade-in options available. Shop online at MazdaJackson.com or visit Mazda Jackson, I-55 Frontage Road.
Looking for adventure, amazing food, and a little relaxation all in one place? You'll find it at Cypress Point Resort in Brandon. Load up the family and experience a real drive-through safari, petting zoo, and thrilling guided Jeep tours. Then slow it down with mouth-watering steaks at the steakhouse or grab drinks and live music at the tavern. Planning a wedding or reunion? Cypress Point Resort has beautiful venues and cozy lodging. Ready for your big day or just a weekend escape? It's everything you love about the outdoors with a touch of luxury. Cypress Point Resort. Wild fun right around the corner.
The Clay Edwards Show live stream on WYAB is brought to you by Mazda of Jackson.
This is the Clay Edwards Show, powered by LiveBetterMen.com.
Contact the show on the Ellis Autoplex text line at 769-241-1944.
Welcome back in to the most incendiary show on the RADIO, the Clay Edwards Show, 103.9 WYAB. Well, of course, we're streaming worldwide. One of our great partners are brought to you by one of our great partners over at Mazda of Jackson. You can check them out right there, I-55 at Briarwood. Swing by today and see the all-new Mazda CX-90, completely redefined crossover luxury at a much more affordable price point than some of its competitors. You are going to be shocked at the bang for the buck you get when you open up the doors to the CX-90 with interest rates. I don't have this month's rates in front of me, but they're usually starting as low as 0.9 with approved credit. But hey, don't let that approved credit scare you. They got financing options to take care of just about every imaginable credit situation. Visit them today online at MazdaofJackson.com, 365, 24/7, or in person. Go in, park your car, go inside the doors. Let one of the great salespeople catch you and help you find your next Mazda or quality, low mileage pre-owned vehicle. And don't forget, they do have the select used cars, the premium used cars, the program vehicles. The name is eluding me. What do we call the special used vehicles at the used car at the new car dealerships? I'll get back to it. I'm promoting them all the time. I'm just having a brain fart this morning. But, anyway, they're the ones like you go to a Mazda, you buy a used Mazda that comes with all of the new warranty. It's basically like what in the world? I'm going to find my word here. I'm just having a complete brain fart right now. I'm always talking about how good these things are. They're such a great buy. Why don't you buy these things? I got my Mazda talking points here. Well, these are old. Anyway, I'll find the word in a minute. It doesn't matter. Mazda Jackson. Get by there, check them out today. And don't forget, every new Mazda comes with a 1-year free basic maintenance. That's your oil changes. That's your tire rotations, all of that stuff. And I feel like somebody's texting me to tell me certified pre-owned. Thank you, Ellis Autoplex text liners. Certified pre-owned. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word certified this morning, but it happens to the best of us, man. If y'all knew what was running around in my head, you'd be surprised I get any words out. Anyway, I'll tell you about Mazda of Jackson. And real quick, man, last night got to go to the soft grand opening of the all-new McBee's Lakeside right there at Lake Caroline. You guys are going to be blown away. If you've been there before, when it was the previous restaurant, it was nice. Don't get me wrong, nothing negative to say, but what Michael Wembley and his team have done to that building, converting it into a McBee's Lakeside, is friggin' awesome. Look, they're going to have some of your McBee's favorites. You know, they who don't want a great hamburger, who don't want some great mozzarella sticks and hot wings and all that good stuff. But they've also got some of the classics that made that previous establishment as well loved as it was. Steaks, pastas, that stuff. I got the chicken Alfredo fettuccine. I got the fried chicken on mine. I really wish I got the blackened chicken, but the fried was fine. I just wanted something a little spicier. But that aside, that's on me, not them. It was fine. Ate over half of it there. And before I went to bed last night, the girlfriend got the fried shrimp version. I got the fried chicken version. There's none left in the fridge between both of us eating the rest of it when we got home. I say that to say it's really, really good. Their grand opening is going to be officially one day this week. They got another day or two of the soft grand opening, which is kind of invite only. And then when the official hits, I'll let y'all know. I'm waiting on a text from Michael now, and I will let you know about that. But be ready. The all new Lakeside, Lake Caroline, Madison County McBee's is going to be gorgeous, or it is gorgeous, and you're really going to love it if you're out that way. But hey, why wait for it to open? The OG location, Buzz and Red since 1982, is open at 11 o'clock this morning, right there on on Lake Harbor Drive in Ridgeland, where they've been since 1982. Swing by. It is my favorite blue plate of the week. It's chicken spaghetti, Rotel chicken spaghetti. Let me get it right. Y'all always like to correct me on my chicken spaghetti. That's not chicken spaghetti. That's chicken tetrazzini. That's not Rotel. That's da-da-da-da-da. Rotel chicken spaghetti. And my personal favorite side dish is the fried okra. That's McBee's. Check them out today. All right, man. Here in the studio with me, we got our full-time co-host here with Creston Birch, and we got our special guest today, returning guest, former Jackson mayoral candidate, Mr. Zach Service. Zach, before we pick back up, I just want to commend you. You know, when you first came on the show, you, me, Sean, we had a little combative thing, but we all left friends on this thing. Yeah. And I've had a lot of respect for you. Now, always
sorry to cut you off, but big shout out to Sean for that was a real man-to-man handled situation. Mm-hmm. A lot of dudes don't have the maturity to have the conversation we even had off air and handle it that way. We could solve a lot of problems in Jackson if some folks just get together and hash out their differences in person instead of going on the social media to do all their work. I
was telling my girlfriend that exact topic about that exact same thing about y'all and us last night. I said, he came on there, and man, we all left buddies on this thing, and it's so much easier to have an adult conversation, but people don't want to do it. They want to come on there. I want to debate. No, you don't. You want to come on here and show your butt. No, it was a great time. But where I want to commend you is so often you see these kind of flash in the pan political candidates come on the scene. They make a big name for themselves. They get a lot of press, and that's all they're doing it for, because they know they don't have a chance of winning. Mm-hmm. And then they go away, or they go on about whatever they've decided to do with their newfound notoriety. And man, you've stayed in the fight. You've stayed at the city council meetings. You've stayed in the mud, so to say, in Jackson. And I mean that as a compliment.
No, I got a song on the new album coming out called "Out the Mud."
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the
Funny Mud.
The Kevin Gates version. Kevin Gates, the first one I heard use that term on the "I Don't Get Tired" album back in 2014 or so.
Yep. I worked 6 jobs. I don't get tired.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I brought him to town to that tour.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I saw that.
So but kudos for staying in the fight. And because a lot of people get out of it immediately, like, oh no, they get some of that Jackson yuck on them, on the political yuck. Like, oh my goodness, what have I done? I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's pick back up where we left off. Creston, I was going to ask you, we were talking about marijuana, so I knew this conversation would go all over the place. We may be here. He may be here for the whole 2 hours. Who knows? So you were a DUI enforcement cop for years. They pass medical marijuana, legal medical marijuana. Yep. And to a lot of people's surprise, not mine, but a lot of people's surprise that, well, hey, you can in fact get a DUI even with your prescription marijuana.
Oh, absolutely.
Did you see did you find a lot of people receptive to that or shocked?
A lot of people were shocked. They thought, well, it's legal, I can drive with it. No, you cannot. It's just like any other medication that you get from a doctor. If it affects your ability for clarity and control, as it says,
whether it's Adderall, whether it's pain pills, Xanax, anything,
whatever,
right?
If it
or
affects
alcohol bought over the counter,
yep. If it affects your clarity and control, then you can be charged and found guilty of a DUI
regularly and often,
all the time. And
smelling it is all the probable cause you need.
Only probable cause is necessary on alcohol. On marijuana, it's a little bit different. But
I was actually suggesting on marijuana. So
well, that gives you probable cause for search. So,
but what about to demand a field sobriety?
Well, I'm sure you're going to get a field sobriety test as well.
Yeah, so, I know you don't want to give away all the secrets.
Yeah,
but
you have to establish probable cause.
Okay, but the smell is not probable cause.
It's just like any other crime.
What if they swerve, hit a yellow line?
Now, see, that's you're going into
like factually. So I'm not saying just made it up. He swerved.
Right, yeah,
I mean, because it's dash cans, but he hits a yellow line.
You're talking about establishing reasonable suspicion or probable cause. Reasonable suspicion is a lower threshold.
Gotcha. So, okay. But look, I'm a fan of people being safe on the roads.
Absolutely.
However we got to get there. Be safe on the roads.
As Zach said, if you want to do that at home, you by all means do it. That's up to you. I'm not your judge there. On the streets and highways, that's where I become, that becomes the problem.
So, a lot of people get mad at the way that I have put videos of people not in their best shape on the internet. People who are banged up on dope and stuff and out in public.
Yeah.
And Clay, how dare you? He's an addict and he's at his worst and all that. And like, I get what you're saying. I do. But, you can go get just as banged up behind a house somewhere, in a house, in private. You ain't got to do it at the gas station across the street from the Coliseum for all the world to see. Well, and I use that explanation there, or that example.
I know exactly which one you're talking about too.
Yeah, the one that had the car wash next to Wendy's and Arby's and all that. Yeah. Not the nice one that's really taken care of. It's the one across the street by Whataburger. I hate it for Whataburger.
I had a crackhead come up and offer me service.
Yeah,
one time I had to get the heck up out of there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, I got a video of a guy and a girl, and we're going to keep this family friendly. We'll just say a guy and a girl doing what guys and girls like to do, walking out of a car wash, that old car wash there. Goodness. We'll just say all banged up. And the guy pulls a knife out, stabs one guy that's walking from the Waffle House. I mean, it's just the events that took place from one side of this parking lot to the other in about 30 seconds is mind-boggling. So I put this online to like warn people, hey, if you've got kids in the car and you're heading downtown today for any reason, don't let them look to the right. If you get off High Street and you're going towards the Coliseum, do not let them look to the right. Look to the left. Look to the left. Yeah. Because there's going to be something over there that you don't want to have to explain to your kids at this point in life until you're ready to explain to them this whole situation. Like, Daddy, why is that guy naked and got a knife? And what is that girl doing hunched over? You don't want to have to explain these things. So I like to put it out there for people to know. And yeah, for clicks and views, I won't lie. Combination of both. So I can be selfishly doing it and doing it for a good reason. Two things can be right at the same time.
That is true.
Well, people can be happy because in all states that have passed medical marijuana, personal use marijuana has followed not long after. So
it's usually like 3 to 5 years.
Just stand by.
Yep. I think you'll get there. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see with pretty much every major statewide office up for grabs this year because everybody's trying to get the next position up. Multiple are running for the same position. And so people are unseating themselves from their current jobs. Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in these hot button topics like that. Even though it doesn't necessarily come down to the governor, of course, he'll have to sign off on it if they don't get it with a super majority, kind of a veto-proof majority, which I don't foresee that happening in Mississippi, a topic quite like this. So it would have to narrowly pass and the governor sign off on it. So we'll see what a Republican government feels about that. I have my doubts. I have my doubts, but I would support it, as long as we're also not trying to ban every little thing else along with it.
Right.
Like leave kratom alone. If you want to ban the 708 stuff and all this designer stuff, that's potent and dangerous, sure. I'll co-sign on that. But just leave the regular kratom alone. There's a lot of people that has helped get off pain pills and opioids and saving people's lives because of the fentanyl that's coming over. I call fentanyl it's a great product of the whole unintended consequence, law of unintended consequences. Fentanyl is the gold medal winning award, the FAFO championship of unintended consequences, because Trump 1.0 came in and really tightened down the opioid stuff. We had an opioid crisis, was out of control. Agreed. It was out of control. I know people that were addicted badly, and they tightened it down. They basically made it impossible for anybody to get pain medicine for anything outside of losing a limb just about, or dying from, cancer and, end of life care for strong medications. And well, those people who had been legally addicted to opioids had nowhere to turn. I mean, they were dying from withdrawals, from cold turkey. A lot of them discovered kratom, and it helped people save their lives. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic at all. It saved people's lives. Then you get big pharma and say, oh, hold on a goddamn minute. Hold on a dang minute. We do this. Right. Yeah. Y'all don't do this. We do this. And so a lot of
big
stuff.
Pharma is why marijuana is not legal. It used to in the forming days of our country, hemp and marijuana was legal, but then they realized how are we going to sell all of these cigarettes if we don't get rid of this? Because why would they smoke this stuff that gives you cancer when they could just smoke stuff that makes you loopy a little bit, but is actually not that bad for you besides what you're doing to your lungs?
Exactly.
You know, so it's never any battle, man.
It is. How old are you?
28 and a half.
You ever smoked a cigarette?
I've never. I had too many aunts and uncles. I hated it, dude. And a lot of them died from cancer from smoking. All kinds: tongue cancer, throat cancer, lung cancer. I couldn't do it.
Same reason why so many people your age don't drink too.
Yeah.
Because
well, also alcoholism runs in my family. My mom, before she got saved, she was alcoholic. My dad, before he got saved, was alcoholic. Their dads. Actually, the reason my dad's parents got married was because of alcoholic parents' homes. That at 15 they got married because they were trying to get out from abusive alcoholic fathers. So I made a decision early. I can't allow, even if I didn't have a biblical reason for not doing it, I could not allow that cycle to continue in my life. So I've never touched it. I don't desire to. And now knowing all the stuff I do from scientific research, I just wouldn't want to fool with it.
I like it. Let's take a break real quick. If you're watching on Facebook, we're killing the Facebook feed. Join us on YouTube or X at SaveJXN, or find us on Rumble or Twitch at Clay Edwards Show. If you're listening on the radio, nothing's changing. We'll be right back. 103.9 WYAB with Zach Service and Creston Birch here in the studio.
.9 WYAB.
This is Central Mississippi's Stimulating Talk.
103.9 WYAB. Pocahontas, Jackson.
For decades, you've known the name Martin's for good times, great food, and the best live music. Now that's happening at 2 locations, downtown Jackson and Livingston. Check the websites, martinslivingstonms.com and martinsdowntownjxn.com for the many special events and live music lineups. You can chill with friends on the big patio at the Livingston location and enjoy the blue plate lunches and nightly drink specials. Martin's, downtown and Livingston.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Hot weather requires us to run the AC nonstop. Pure Air Consultants can inspect your unit today to ensure your AC is operating at peak performance. Pure Air Consultants is your go-to ring partner that can get the job done and have you resting in comfort in no time. Locally owned and operated, they have proudly served our community for over 22 years. Contact Pure Air Consultants today at mypureairconsultants.com. Ream and Pure Air Consultants to the rescue.
Are you thinking about your next vehicle purchase? Hi, I'm Casey Ellis, owner of Ellis Autoplex in Brandon. If you've been searching for a clean diesel or half-ton truck, your search is over. At Autoplex, we specialize in the vehicles people actually want. Whether you're upgrading, buying your first truck, or looking for something the big dealerships don't have, Ellis Autoplex is worth the drive. Stop by and see why more and more people across the Southeast are choosing Little Truck City. Follow us on Facebook or shop online at ellisautoplex.com.
Ravenstein, let me get this right. You've been in the jewelry business for 50 years, and to celebrate, you're putting half the store at half price? Well, now you've got my full attention.
Good. And put it on your calendar. I'm John.
And I'm Corey Ravenstein with our biggest sale ever.
We've taken half the store and marked everything to half price.
Because it's John Ravenstein's 50th anniversary, half off, half the store sale at Juniker Jewelry Company. Saturday, August 15th through Saturday, August 22nd.
Almost $7 million in diamonds, designer jewelry, colored gemstones, diamond fashion, pearls, and antique jewelry.
Even pieces in our Mississippi Heritage Collection.
Half of our store, it's all half price.
Half off diamond engagement rings and wedding bands.
Get that gift of a lifetime for half price.
But hurry. John's 50th anniversary sale at Juniker Jewelry Company. Half off, half the store, August 15th through the 22nd, only at Juniker Jewelry Company. Mississippi's direct diamond importer, 1485 Highland Colony Parkway in Madison, and junikerjewelry.com.
A funny thing happens to a lot of men. One day you're the guy carrying the ice chest, loading the truck, and helping everybody move. Then one day, you're looking for a place to sit down. If your energy, focus, and drive aren't what they used to be, talk to Live Better Men's Health and Wellness. Real answers, personalized treatment, a better way forward. Living better starts at livebettermen.com. That's livebettermen.com.
Hey, business owners, want your phones to ring away? Get your name on the airwaves with the Clay Edwards Show today. Tell the town who you are while they're driving in their cars. If you want your business to grow, advertise on the Clay Edwards Show. Contact info at WIAB.com. Contact info at WIAB.com.
The Clay Edwards Show live stream on WYAB is brought to you by Mazda of Jackson.
This is the Clay Edwards Show, powered by LiveBetterMen.com.
Contact the show on the Ellis Autoplex text line at 769-241-1944.
Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here on 103.9 WYAB. We're joined by Zach Service, former Jackson mayoral candidate, and Creston Birch, recently retired 30-year Clinton police officer, in the studio this morning. We are powered by those free testosterone screenings at Live Better Men's Health and Wellness. You can check them out at livebettermen.com. And this segment is brought to you by our friends. Hey, man, just real quick shout out to my folks over at Ellis Autoplex. I did a video yesterday. You can find it on my YouTube as well as my Facebook about Ellis Autoplex teaming up with the Flowood PD and the Rankin County Sheriff's Department to single-handedly bring down a counterfeit check writing ring. That's right. I'm gonna cut those mics on. Sorry. It's a counterfeit check writing. Y'all know this hustle they've been doing on Facebook Marketplace where these guys come and they give you a fake check of sorts for your vehicle. Well, there's like a side hustle, a cottage industry of that's being played on car dealerships where these guys will come and they'll do this thing, and they're not keeping the cars necessarily, but they're keeping them for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, however long it takes before the dealership finally says we're involving law enforcement to get our car back. And normally what they do is they'll just bring the car back. Hey, look, bring us our car back and we ain't going to press any charges. And somebody's had the car for a week, 2 weeks, basically a free rental. Well, Ellis said, not today, Satan, not today. Casey had the time, and he had he was at his wit's end with crooks and bad people, and him and his team concocted a master plan with the help of Flowood PD. And not only did they get their truck back, they got no less than one other vehicle back too that belonged to the Lincoln dealership in Memphis, and they got a guy behind bars who was out on parole for doing this very thing.
I was going to say, let me guess, what for?
Exactly. So y'all can go watch that whole video. It's about 20 minutes. We got video of the arrest. We got videos. We got photos. We got it all. It's a really, really interesting video. I took a lot of time on it yesterday afternoon, put it together. Took a couple times to get it right, but about 18, 20 minutes long. It's one of my longer videos, but it's so rewarding. So kudos to his team. And that right there, if Ellis Autoplex, as much effort as they put into catching these kind of things, we even have it in their ads. Don't mess with the Craigslist crazies, the marketplace maniacs. And they got caught slipping, so to say, with one of these checks. Man, it can happen to anybody. That's why you need to go sell your car to a certified dealer like them when you're going to get a real check, a local check, and you're not going to get screwed over. You're going to get fair market value for your vehicle. If you insist on using somebody else, make them meet you at their bank to withdraw the funds in front of a teller. Do not accept a certified check from, I don't care whose bank it says on it. And if it's on Saturday, they can wait till Monday if they want the car bad enough. If they're paying you cash, still have them meet you at a bank to verify those funds are real, or at minimum, a dang police department or sheriff's department or fire station, and bring your fake money catcher. And that's the advice I can give you. If they won't do that, it's a hustle. But anyway, go watch that video and go do business with Ellis Autoplex, helping keeping criminals off the streets. You can check them out online at ellisautoplex.com. We got about 3 minutes here for our next break. We got our good friend, Mr. Zach Service, here in the studio. We spent a good bit of time talking about medical marijuana and whatnot. But how about this, dude? I'm trying to decide if I want to waste any time with it. Let's just jump in and we can always pick it up in the next hour.
Sure.
The Metro Center.
Yeah.
All right. So what was the name of the company? So they're just doing these quick cask form like bricks, basically.
Okay. So that particular venture was called and I think is called BioCrete Global.
BioCrete, that's it.
Very, really cool product, I will say.
The BioCrete product is neat. Okay, my suspicions is that it may be legitimate, but the money isn't there to actually do this and to make to do it. I'm trying to think of a nice way to say not be a scam, but it feels like a scam to me. Yeah, it feels like a big promises. We're going to do this. We're going to manufacture. We're going to hire all these people. We're going to do all this on-job training. We're going to put you to work today.
Yeah.
Has anybody received a paycheck?
So I'm no longer involved in it, but when I left the involvement of the organization I was in that was doing work with them in partnership, the nonprofit that was doing partnership with them for the workforce development, a few people have gotten a minor form of a paycheck. I don't want to say too much because I don't know how much has gone on since I've left my involvement with that. That could be positive. So here's what I know in loose ways and loose terms. From what I'm told,
Malaya, all this was a big allegedly.
Yes,
we're not trying to slander these people.
We're just my opinions, not the stations.
Yeah.
Or Clay's. But from what I was told on the inside, there's state and even I think possibly city funding, and maybe even, I know federal opportunity zone funds that were allocated that the Metro Center qualified for, but one of two things: either people didn't want to touch because they couldn't get their hands on it for themselves, or two, some of them just didn't have a clue that they could access it, right? Because they don't know what they're doing, right? And when these developers came in, because they already identified all these opportunities for funding, or they wouldn't have taken the project. They do work in South Carolina that's been successful. This is a $1 billion project.
Sure.
It's not just the BioCrete was just the anchor project. It's going to be a whole mixed use development was the plan. Government folks didn't like that they were trying to do paid training at the rate they were trying to do it. So they didn't like they were paying so much per hour in Mississippi, because if they do that, all the other companies now have to do their paid training at that
raising
rate.
the price of tea in China.
And their starting rate for their lowest paying job was $19 an hour. And they were supposed to have a couple weeks training and start. But the government of our state, from my understanding, wasn't liking that.
Well, let me ask this. How are they supposed to start when there's not a building there to start? What are they starting? Were they doing construction inside one of the old
from my understanding,
buildings?
So from my understanding of it, they were actually going to pour a slab. They were going to do one portion of like the plant, and then they were going to do another phase after that. Like this was the first phase. I was there for the groundbreaking. And there was so much on about it that was just like our boat between our city government and our state government. They were just been through hell trying to get that project to move forward. And just like most projects at the Metro Center or anywhere in our city, they die not because it's not possible, but because
hold that thought. Guys, we'll be right back here in 3 minutes on the Clay Edwards Show.
Right.
Tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
Grill lovers already know about Grills of Mississippi, and so should you. Grills of Mississippi carries premium Weber grills, Yoder smokers, and outdoor kitchen accessories to take your backyard cooking to the next level. Whether you're a weekend griller or a serious pitmaster, Grills of Mississippi has the brands, the knowledge, and the service to help you do it right. Turn your backyard into the ultimate gathering spot. Visit grillsofms.com today. Grills of Mississippi, where great cooking starts.
The only thing hotter than Mississippi in the summer is a Mississippi summer when the power goes out. This summer, be ready. Call Cowden Electric. They can install a permanent standby generator that automatically kicks on the second the power fails and keeps your whole house running. Hey, you already got a portable generator? Call Cowden Electric and let them set it up so you can safely plug it into your breaker box and power just the essentials. Don't wait for the next outage. Call Cowden Electric today or visit CowdenElectric.com and stay powered up when the grid goes down. CowdenElectric.com.
When leaks, clogs, or cold showers slow you down, call on Anglin Plumbing, the plumbing experts who get the job done right the first time. Leaky faucet, sink, or toilet? Need a water heater installed? Call on Anglin Plumbing. You can always trust Anglin's reliable and hardworking technicians. Don't let plumbing headaches ruin your day. Call on Anglin Plumbing Service to get it fixed. And you can be a part of the team. Anglin Plumbing is now hiring. Learn more about Anglin Plumbing at anglinplumbing.com.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
Located in Ridgeland and Flora, come see me, Jamie Creel, Shelter Insurance.
Hey, Rankin County, swing by the locally owned and award-winning 042 Wine and Spirits on Highway 80 next to Sonny's Barbecue in Brandon today. We've got one of the largest selections around with over 200 bourbons and whiskeys to ignite your taste buds, more than 50 vodkas, 50-plus tequilas, 30-plus rums, and ready-to-drink cocktails, as well as premium scotches. And get this, we've got over 400 wines in stock for the perfect pairing anytime. Discover your new favorites today at 042 Wine and Spirits right next to Sonny's Barbecue, Highway 80, Cross Gates, Brandon.
The Clay Edwards Show live stream on WYAB is brought to you by Mazda of Jackson.
This is the Clay Edwards Show, powered by LiveBetterMen.com.
Contact the show on the Ellis Autoplex text line at 769-241-1944.
Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. Guys, we threw a lot on you there in that last little segment. I should have waited, but I want to pick that back up, this Metro Center debacle. And it's just a great explanation of the way the city of Jackson works and other like-minded cities where, and maybe throwing the city under the bus ain't the best way to do it here, but it's just the people of the city, these nonprofit groups, so on and so forth, where everybody's got to get theirs. If everybody ain't getting theirs, nobody's getting theirs. And because you can't get out of the way from cutting your nose off to spite your face. Something else I want to talk to Zach about, and we're not necessarily on the same page, but I want to understand deeper why. And I'm all for data centers at Lake Hyco and why I think that it's kind of boom or bust when it comes to that. I've seen Zach with a different opinion. I want to talk to him about that and just the data center conversation overall. It's very interesting. I'm not necessarily pro-con. I'm in the wait and see kind of aspect of it all. But anyway, I want to talk about Lake Hyco and the potential development out there. And circle back to this, and heck, who knows what else we'll hit this morning. We got a lot to talk about. We ain't talked Jackson in a while on this show outside of just the homicide count, so we'll see what all is good going on. Zach's in the thick of it all. Maybe there's something positive going on in Jackson that I'm not aware of. I'm always game to hear about that as well. Y'all don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hey, don't forget it. Speaking of Jackson, Martin's Downtown and Martin's Livingston. The Blue Plate special of the day is fried or grilled pork chops. See y'all here in 7 minutes.
How about tell people and be honest? What's going on?
Going to war on cancel culture and bringing the spotlight on issues and topics from around the city of Jackson.
I feel like Jackson, Mississippi.
No one else wants to talk about.
The whole system is corrupt and evil. It's unreal, and they don't care, and everybody knows that. It's just sad.
And fights for the soul of America.
I'm gonna need y'all to explain to me what a positive solution is, because you positive solutions only people have been in charge for a while now, and I'm not seeing too many positive solutions.
You never met a motherfucker.
Strap in, turn up the.
Boom goes La Dynamite. It's hour 2 of the most incendiary show on the RADIO. This, my friends, is the Clay Edwards Show. I am, of course, Clay Edwards, coming at you live here on 103.9 WYAB. We're streaming worldwide and live over on the Mazda Jackson live stream. We have I said we 86. Actually, we did not 86 the Facebook feed. We are 86 in the Facebook feed. No, I did 86 by another way. I killed it from Facebook directly. But anyway, we are now streaming on YouTube and X at SaveJXN, and we are on Rumble and Twitch at Clay Edwards Show. You should be able to find those pretty easily there. Make sure I got that right. We got X, we got YouTube, we got Rumble, and we got Twitch. Okay, make sure I had it right there. All right. We're on the Mazda Jackson live stream there. We appreciate Mazda Jackson for sponsoring that. The Ellis Autoplex text line is 769-241-1944. I do appreciate all the happy birthdays this morning. 49, man. 1 year away from the big 5-0. Big 5-0. There was a time in my life where I didn't think I'd make it this far. It was about 2 days ago. I kid. Look, I appreciate everybody. Real quick, man, let's pay a few bills here. How about my friends over at Cowden Electric? Man, my good buddy Marty there, out there in the struggling in that heat, hooking up those emergency power generators. So when the grid gets overloaded, you guys, and this is going to carry right into our next conversation, isn't it? Talking about data centers. When that grid gets overloaded and knocks out, or the weather comes through and knocks the grid out, knocks the power out, yours is not affected. Yours kicks right back on because it's got that gas-powered full home generator, courtesy of Cowden Electric. Look, you can get a full home one, or like I've said ad nauseum, and I hope some of you are taking advantage of this. If you're a renter, or maybe your budget just doesn't allow for the big one, maybe your credit's a little tight, you can't take on that size loan right now. I get it, but what you can do for a few $100 ish, less than $1,000 for the most part, get your generator converted where you can plug in your emergency generator. Not your generator. I'm sorry. Get your breaker box converted where you can plug in your emergency generator to it and run just a few select, integral, important breakers like your air conditioning and your deep freezers. If you have a breaker that has some emergency medical equipment on it for somebody that's at home, maybe on a hospice care or ventilators or anything like that, boom, it's going to keep those powered. Well, Clay, they've got backup batteries. Yeah, but those things last for a week, like when Katrina took us out for a week. You never know, right? And it ain't always during the summertime. Sometimes this happens in the winter, right? Like when the snowstorm came through, ice storm came through in 21. We were without power for a while. I ain't got to explain to you. You're in Mississippi. You know all the different ways the power goes out, whether it's tornadoes, the grid getting maxed out in the summer, ice causing it to go down during the winter. You can be unaffected by all that by calling Cowden Electric. You can find them online at COWDEN. That's CowdenElectric.com. And don't forget, they are very, very knowledgeable in hooking up those turbo electric car chargers from Tesla and other companies too. So reach out to them for that too if you've made the electric car switch here lately. Man, have you driven an electric vehicle?
Crazy enough, a friend of mine let me drive his self-driving Tesla. They're nice, man. Like, I don't know if I could ever trust them because my dad-in-law has one too.
Well, you don't have to do the self-driving part.
No, you don't have to. But the crazy thing is, like,
itself,
statistically, it's safer than a human because it has 6 cameras that can react way faster than you and see things you can't. But it's just like, I've watched too many movies.
Me too.
And I know the CIA can hack that stuff.
I've read 1984.
Yes, me too. So I was like, I just don't know, man. Maybe for now, but in 10 years, I probably won't touch one.
I'm with you. Now, if we ever get to the flying car thing, they better be they better be self
Yeah,
flying. I do not trust.
That's one place I'm not asserting my right to free travel is if we can self fly a car.
Yeah, they get self flying. I've seen the way they drive around Jackson. They're gonna fly even worse. But anyway, yeah, but
my
they're
brother
fun.
Luke said that. He said that we better hope we never get self-driving cars in Mississippi before they change the laws to get a license.
Who said that?
My brother Luke.
Oh yeah. Look, but just the electric cars themselves, though, driving them in the power, the torque,
it's crazy.
I mean, as a drag guy that grew up
like
loving
instant.
drag racing and stuff, like,
yeah,
it's insane.
I was not ready for that.
No, man. My buddy Michael Wimberly that owns McBee's, he's got one of those.
Shout out to Michael, man. He's awesome.
He's got the electric Hummer, and it's a vehicle that's that heavy.
It sounds like a Starship too when those things pull up, man. It has like this musical hum.
It does, isn't it? And it's got that turbo mode, or it's got some silly mode. It's fun, but it's like a launch mode.
Oh,
it's like the equivalent of like having a trans brake in a drag car and shoot you.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the plaid mode. I know that's Tesla, but it's from Spaceballs, kind of the same concept. And man, I'm amazed at how fast that H3 is, and it's all-wheel drive, and it will literally peel all 4 tires when it pulls off. Not that he's ever done it; he's a great driver.
Right,
I'm just saying, in theory, if he was to want to, it would. I've seen a video of one doing it, so I assume his will. But man, it's amazing how much power those things have. I highly recommend. And I don't want to be forced to have an electric vehicle, but I would like to have an electric vehicle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Once the government forces you, it ain't fun no more.
No.
All right. So speaking of electricity and all that, let's pivot here, man. We got Zach Service in the studio with us this morning. Creston Birch. Zach ran for mayor of Jackson last time around. He's remained steadfast in this fight for the saving of Jackson. Hey, real quick, man, let's circle back to before we do the data center talk. Real quick, 2 things. Your lawsuit.
Yeah.
Where are we at with that? We talked about it, but we kind of forgot to ask, like, where are we at with it? When is court?
Yeah, so actually today I'll be following up with my attorneys, but basically we filed it last week, I think, on Monday, the 11th, whatever August 11th was. We filed it
last Monday.
And funny enough, we could have had it filed much sooner, but they did not they just didn't have the manpower to do the converting of all the videos, and they didn't realize I was a media specialist. So I told them, I was like, guys, just let me convert the videos so we could get this filed. Could have had it done back in May. If you want to go read more about it, Clarion Ledger has done about 2 or 3 articles on this lawsuit. Jackson Jambalaya did the first one. Actually, I didn't even realize we filed it that day until I read the Jackson Jambalaya article. So I was like, man, he really tapped in because he knew before I did that we got it actually filed in. But I think our next steps will be probably discovered, but I don't want to say because I've never sued anybody, dude. I didn't want to sue Jackson. I sent a formal complaint. All the attorney said was received. That was their response. I let it go for so long, but then the very next like week they're quoting the same ordinance. They're trying to enforce that on me. So I said, finally, I'm like, okay, guys, I'm not getting myself thrown out of another council meeting and made to look like a fool like they tried to do me last time. I said, I'm going to handle this outside of here. And I got a First Amendment advocacy group, national group, reached out to them. Somebody recommended them to me from, I think they were listening to the show and then recommended it to me. But they sent a formal document and basically offered to help the city fix their ordinances to not violate our rights. And they didn't even respond to it. The city didn't even acknowledge that they received it. And then we waited 2 or 3 more months and did it again. Again, they didn't do anything. So finally I asked, what's my recourse? What do we do? I said, now it's got to be legal action. And then they helped me find an attorney who was interested, who happens to be a local Jackson-based attorney, Joel Dillard and Associates. So I did everything I could to avoid suing because I didn't want to, do that with a new mayor coming in and make it seem like I was trying to, poison pill this administration.
Sure.
Because I've tried to work with them as much as I can.
Look, I took the gloves off, or left the gloves on, should I say?
Yeah.
Where I was like, man, I'm giving him a year.
That's what I said.
I don't like the police chief hire, but I'm giving him a year to find where the bathrooms are at and just how to un-F all the chalkways. Like, he's got,
and it was worse than we thought.
Of course,
it was worse. I talked to a lot of people. They said we didn't know it was this bad. We thought one person said they thought I was lying. I won't say who it was because I think they're back in the administration now. But he said, Zach, I told people I have to apologize. I told people you were lying, and then I went and looked, and it was actually what you said. And I said, nah, you wouldn't believe it. It's out of a movie.
Like, I'm amazed that the lights didn't get cut off.
Zach, I got it.
Well, they have on some of our public roadways.
Well, the hood building.
Yeah, we've had issues with Entergy. Some was on their end, but a lot of us from us not paying bills.
Well, Zach, I got a question for you. You're going after them in two ways, right? One of them is because of the election, in the election polling place.
Yep.
And the other is for they also kicked you out or didn't allow you to speak because you so-called disparaged a public employee.
Correct. They interrupted me and tried to say I couldn't disparage
Well,
a
I
city
suggest
employee.
that the city of Jackson becomes very familiar with the New York Times Company versus versus Sullivan and what Justice Brennan said. And that's very simple. We consider these cases against the background of a profound national comment to the principle that debate on public issues should be uninhibited, robust, and wide open. And that is, it may well include vehement, caustic, and sometimes unpleasant sharp attacks on government and public officials.
They don't like sharp attacks at the city of Jackson.
Criticism is racism.
That's what they signed up for. They need to.
Yeah.
You could really go in there and call them everything but a son of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And there ain't a thing they can do about it.
And we got council people that they can get loud and boisterous and yell at the people making public comment, but they won't let the person making public comment do it.
Supreme Court black letter law.
Yeah. And I cited them even in my letters to the city, but even in person, I cited their own ordinance, and then I cited the constitutional laws, and I cited the cases in the Supreme Court. Time and time again, it's been ruled that public comment cannot be viewpoint limited. You cannot restrict viewpoint.
Right.
So this lawsuit isn't me being mad at the city and the people. This isn't me not loving my city. This is me loving my city enough to hold our government accountable since nobody else wants to do it. Because it's not, I can handle this because I know the law, but somebody else who's trying to fight for themselves, they may not know how, and someone's got to hold them accountable.
Yeah, you can't threaten people, but you can use all the words you want to.
I can share my opinion freely, no matter how unpleasant or loud it is.
Yes.
I just can't threaten them. But I was quiet. That's the crazy thing. I was talking in this tone of voice. That's why I started laughing when they kicked me out.
Yeah, I think 2026 or maybe 27 is going to be a big year in the courts for freedom of speech.
I hope so.
With a lot of these lawsuits that are coming out of the Nolan Wells accusations, people being falsely accused, and people thinking that they can just lie on people online because they said the word allegedly in front of it, and all these things, and cases like yours. I think there's going to be a lot of precedents set in the next 12 months in the courts, especially here in the state of Mississippi.
Well, I look at it from the law enforcement side of it. I see these police officers getting told by elected officials to remove people like him from public meetings.
Yep.
And I want to caution my fellow law enforcement officers out there. You might want to be careful with that.
Yeah, because they're putting you, and that was, I got asked by the reporter, is like, why didn't I, like, what was going through my head? Why didn't I choose to fight? I looked in Wendell Watt's eyes. And I saw how badly he did not want to have to grab my arm and take me out of there. And I thought about my family and that my wife would not be happy if I didn't come home that night.
Understood.
And I thought to myself, you know what?
There's a time and a place to fight.
Yeah. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna let this one sit, and I'm gonna get my backseats later.
But it's like we always say, you can't have court on the side of the road.
Yep. Right. And I said, you know what? It's not. I said, this is not about my pride. It was about theirs. But I said, this is about fighting for the city, and I can't fight for the city from behind bars.
It makes your case that much stronger.
Yep.
All right, let's take a break real quick. We'll stay on schedule this hour. We got Zach Service here in the studio. We've got Creston Birch. I do want to talk about the data centers out at Lake Hyco.
Absolutely.
And we may circle back to the Metro debacle as well, but the data center thing is a little bit more interesting to me right now than the Metro Center debacle. Maybe we could tie them all in together, because I think that's what they should turn that into, is one big data center. But that's neither here nor there.
That would have been actually a feasible option.
I think so. We'll be right back. This is the Clay Edwards Show, 103.9 WYAB.
.1039 WYAB.
Need equipment that works as hard as you do? Come see me, Noah Sullivan, at H&H Chief Sales in Carthage. Thousands of you have already made the short drive to see us at H&H for the state's best deals on CM truck beds, Big Tex trailers, Wells Fargo enclosed trailers, and even rugged Candy electric utility vehicles. At H&H, our equipment is built for the farm, job site, hunting camp, or anywhere around your property. So visit me, Noah Sullivan, at H&H Chief Sales on Highway 35 North in Carthage, or online anytime at hhchiefsales.com.
Remember when Saturday meant tackling 3 projects before lunch? Now you need a nap after buying the lumber. It doesn't happen all at once. Energy slips away a little at a time. Focus does too. The team at Live Better Men's Health and Wellness helps men get answers to low testosterone, fatigue, weight gain, and more. Because getting older is mandatory. Feeling old is optional. Learn more at livebettermen.com. That's livebettermen.com.
Tired of the brutal Mississippi sun beating down on your ride or home? Lakeland Glass and Tint in Flowood has you covered. They specialize in professional window tint for cars, homes, and businesses using premium Expel film, plus top-tier paint protection film, ceramic coatings, and full vehicle wraps. Change your truck's color or turn it into a rolling billboard without an expensive paint job. Get a free quote today at LakelandGlassandTint.com. That's LakelandGlassandTint.com. Lakeland Glass and Tint, Central Mississippi's tint and wrap pros.
Who said you can have too much of a good thing? Not at Mazzo Jackson. With rates as low as 0% with approved credit. Come test drive the all-new, fully redesigned 2026 Mazda CX-5. That's more room for you and your cargo, making the third-generation CX-5 the best yet. Mazda's best-selling SUV also comes with 1-year maintenance included on your new vehicle purchase. Mazda Jackson still specializes in certified pre-owned vehicles with hassle-free trade-in options available. Shop online at MazdaJackson.com or visit Mazda Jackson, I-55 Frontage Road.
Looking for adventure, amazing food, and a little relaxation all in one place? You'll find it at Cypress Point Resort in Brandon. Load up the family and experience a real drive-through safari, petting zoo, and thrilling guided Jeep tours. Then slow it down with mouth-watering steaks at the steakhouse or grab drinks and live music at the tavern. Planning a wedding or reunion? Cypress Point Resort has beautiful venues and cozy lodging. Ready for your big day or just a weekend escape? It's everything you love about the outdoors with a touch of luxury. Cypress Point Resort. Wild fun right around the corner.
Hey, business owners, want your phones to ring away. Get your name on the airwaves with the Clay Edwards Show today. Tell the town who you are while they're driving in their cars. If you want your business to grow, advertise on the Clay Edwards Show. Contact info at WIAB.com. Contact info at WIAB.com.
For decades, you've known the name Martin's for good times, great food, and the best live music. Now that's happening at 2 locations, downtown Jackson and Livingston. Check the websites, martinslivingstonms.com and martinsdowntownjxn.com for the many special events and live music lineups. You can chill with friends on the big patio at the Livingston location and enjoy the Blue Plate lunches and nightly drink specials. Martin's, downtown and Livingston.
The Clay Edwards Show live stream on WYAB is brought to you by Mazda of Jackson.
This is the Clay Edwards Show, powered by LiveBetterMen.com.
Contact the show on the Ellis Autoplex text line at 769-241-1944.
Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show, 103.9 WYAB. This segment brought to you by our friends over at, my buddies over at Grills, Mississippi. I want to give them a quick shout out here real quick. Ordered 4 slabs of ribs and a couple pounds of pulled pork for my little birthday get together at my parents' house Saturday. I went by, picked it up. Guys, I'm going to tell you what, they're not a quote unquote restaurant, but you can pre-order stuff like that and they'll have it ready for you in a couple days. If you got an event or something coming up, bro, it's the best pulled pork I've ever had in my life. The ribs go without saying. I told y'all last time I had them, they were the best ribs and I stand by that. Ribs are great. I got some in my fridge still. The pulled pork stole the show. We all looked at each other and said, man, you could have just got the pulled pork. This is fine. And it was, man. So just a shout out to those guys. Everything was ready and waiting on me when I got there. I got a bottle of Fireman John's barbecue sauce, Southern style, the Memphis and May award-winning, world championship-winning barbecue sauce from my very own Fireman John from Ridgeland, Mississippi. Got a bottle of his barbecue sauce, took it over to my folks' house. We all enjoyed it for lunch and for dinner. Good times. So, look, you already know Grills Mississippi's got you covered for the best pellets in the business, the best grills, smokers, cooking accessories, over 500 different rubs and seasonings to choose from, marinades, sauces, all that good stuff. You can all try it before you buy it. You can order it all online right there at grillsofms.com. You can stop by and visit them in person right there on 51 in Ridgeland, right down by Trace Station and Trace Grill and all that. And of course, don't forget they can design and build your custom outdoor kitchens too. So whether you need an entry level charcoal grill or you want to get a big boy catering smoker, custom trailer, custom kitchen built, they can do it all or help you with it right there. But catering, man. You want some real deal Mississippi style catering? Or you're a big company, you're hosting somebody not from Mississippi, you want to get your event catered, but you want to let them know, like, what is Mississippi? What kind of food exemplifies the taste of Mississippi? I think it's barbecue and gas station fried chicken. I think that is Mississippi to the T right there. And they can definitely hook you up with the barbecue and maybe the fried chicken too. I don't know, but check them out today, grillsofms.com. Let me ask you that question. We like to have fun on this show, dude.
Absolutely.
What food do you most associate with Mississippi?
Oh man.
Like if you had to, somebody coming from another country and they landed in Jackson today, what would you can you can give a plug to a restaurant? I don't care.
But I mean, I think of deep fried chicken.
Yeah, me too. I think
that's what I come for. That's what I'm coming for. Any restaurant in Mississippi, if I'm outside of my normal area, I'm looking for where's the chicken at.
Yeah, but I'm saying I say it on the show all the time.
It's a good spot in Lexington at a gas station. Maybe we just talking about that.
Gas station fried chicken, or really good deep fried chicken. Some of these restaurants they try to do
Utica has a good gas station chicken spot.
Do they?
Near close towards J Crossing Farms. Yeah,
I'll check that out.
Those highways.
And I'll say this, they're a sponsor, but I would say this regardless. Martin's on Fridays does fried chicken instead of fried fish.
Oh, really?
And bone-in fried chicken, like white meat or dark meat or whatever. And dude, it is fine. People used to always talk about how good Two Sisters was. I was never a fan of the Two Sisters. I thought it was way, way overrated.
That before my time.
I'll just say it. I think it only won all those awards because it was in downtown Jackson. But there was way better fried chicken to be had. And I'm not saying that as a hater, and it wasn't that it was bad. But like Reed Pierce is out in Byram at the time when it was open, was the best fried chicken I'd ever eaten in my life, or any random Chester fried.
Yeah, Chester's good.
Chester fried's my personal favorite, the gas station favorite. But we're on the same page. Somebody said you got to give them one meal to
I'm sorry, fried chicken, man.
Fried chicken. That's to me. It's that with barbecue at a close gas station barbecue is a close second.
Yeah,
or good barbecue. I just say gas station barbecue just for a catch-all, but. And then when I say gas station barbecue, that ain't an insult, by the way. And when I say gas station chicken, that ain't an insult. Because like
gas station throwing down with some of the standalone restaurants.
You can walk in any random gas station anywhere in Mississippi and maybe had the best plate of food you've ever had in your whole life.
Yeah.
And it's just that random. And you make it one of the worst too. But more times than not, you're gonna get one of the best. There's that guy that does those gas station food reviews.
Okay.
I'm gonna give him a plug here real quick. And I recommend people check out his Facebook page. He may do YouTube as well. It's Stafford Shruden. Kind of a weird last name. He's from up in like Drew, Mississippi.
Okay.
And he does those gas station food reviews and run inside and go out in the parking lot, eat on his tailgate.
Okay.
And I discovered a great barbecue restaurant, like barbecue gas station right here in Rankin County, and from him doing it.
They're doing the Lord's work.
Me and Fred Shanks went right over there like that day or the next day. And man, we got us some of the ribs and some of the pork chops. And it was the truth. And it's, I think that L&M or CNN, and it was right there on the corner of Lake Harbor and Grants Ferry on the Rankin County side.
I know that is.
See, it's like an old super stop Conoco. I don't know what it is now. And anyway, it was right in there. He's also a cook at McBee's. So anyway, good barbecue. All right, man. Back to it. Let's talk this data center Lake Hyco stuff. There's a moratorium or whatever on this data center and all that. I think that's all a glaze. I think data centers are 100% coming to Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
I would be shocked if not, and I'm pulling for them too because I think it will help Jackson. And what are they competing against for the land? Nothing.
It's nothing.
Nothing. I mean, they're competing against nothing or something that pulls in tax dollars. And look, let's set aside the conspiratorial stuff about data centers for a minute and just talk about just from a simple, is this what we want the land used for? Because once you do it, that you get no retail.
Yep.
No residential.
Yep.
I mean, it's going to be, you're forfeiting.
Yeah.
Well, like I've seen you say it, man, there's so many more uses. Let's fill the lake back up. I've always been a supporter of Lake Hyco. Since day one of this show, I've always thought, what a waste that is out there.
It was getting wasted.
But I feel like it's even more wasted now. There's not even water in it. I don't think it's going to be used. I think it's perfect for the data centers.
Well, my problem and my beef with that is, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
I'll forget what I was going to say.
No, go ahead.
I'm not one of those people who like to say they before I know who they is. But now that I've met most of the theys, they seem to have already planned to turn this into a data center.
This is happening.
They didn't care about the community meetings, which I was at. The only two there were held by JPS.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted data center.
Now, who is they in this?
Tell us. They is JPS, the superintendent, the board, the state government, because it's 16th section land, and the city of Jackson is loosely involved in it, but they're more so now because all this was behind the scenes. A lot of them are all collaborating anyway. But ultimately, there's a lot of people who have private equity in why they wanted a private water system and private equity in why they want these data centers. Because this is the thing. This is the crazy thing. They are fighting the Forest Avenue data center project, but they're not fighting it one street over on Lake Hyco property. Same amount of mileage.
Who's doing the Lake High? Who's doing the Forest Avenue one?
That is the land is owned by Sam Astrahan, and the investment group is Saxon something LLC.
This ain't the one that Prada.
No, Prada's is just a little bit north on your county line, I believe.
Okay,
and it's the same distance, if not less, just one street over. So I realized, oh my God, that's why they're fighting it, because they don't have private investment in the one on Forest Avenue. They can't profit from it.
It's always the money.
But they have private investment in these other things. Why would you want it? Mr. Stokes, no disrespect to him, but let's just call it is what it is. He suggested Hawkins Field, which does not, I don't think, have the infrastructure either for a data center. But the whole reason Hawkins Field hasn't expanded is because they made them agree not to expand because of noise. They didn't want to bring more traffic and noise there. But you're so scared of these data centers causing noise pollution. But now we'll suggest, but so I'm figuring it out. And, I came in a little naive when I came into politics in Jackson, and I was believing the best about so many people. And now I'm realizing usually if it doesn't make sense why they're protesting something, everybody's saying this would be good for Jackson, and yet they're still protesting it. They probably know it's a good thing, but it's not a good thing, like you said, that they benefit from, so they don't want it.
It's like I was talking during the break about that Urban Farms documentary in Detroit. It's on Amazon, I believe. They would much rather have urban farms than trap houses, blocks and blocks of trap houses. But people were protesting it, and they were making it about race. And it's just like, hey, anytime we need, we don't want something, just tell the blacks it's racist, and they'll run out there and protest on our behalf. And that's what they do. They figure out a way to kind of say it's racist. It's got something to do with racism or environmental racism or infrastructural racism, and they'll get these pay to play black protest groups like the Poor People's Campaign or whomever, fill in the blank, and they'll run out there. They'll protest. They'll get a check. Now, the people protesting might not. Some of them are true believers. And I don't want to discount that, right? But the people who told them where to be, they getting a check.
Well, that's the problem is, and I've talked about this before on Kim's show.
Rakia,
they got mad at me when I called her out. But one of the reasons why, for one, and I try to stay off of this, I don't want to get you more heat, but part of the reason why race relations are so bad here is because people who look like whichever side is the one on the other side of the issue, they know the pain points of the people they look like or represent, and they use that against them to fight for causes they think are for them, but it's actually working against them. So that when somebody like me shows up and says, no, these people are actually pimping and, we can't use this word on the station, SAing you, right? But you don't realize it because they know the language to trigger your trauma and get you to see the other person as an enemy.
You can say sexually assaulting them.
Okay, I wasn't sure we could say that. So
we're off Facebook. So
we're getting assaulted by our leadership on both sides of issues, but they use our pain points to keep us against each other, and we think we're fighting for the thing they're telling us we're fighting for. The same way they convinced the Confederates that we were fighting against tariffs and not fighting for slavery. That's how they got them to show up and fight, the Civil War. But once folks really saw what was going on, I mean, we see what it is now. But that's a whole nother story. But with the data centers, man, I'm not pro or against data center. I'm pro development. I know that there's different kinds of data centers.
Right. So they're building one in my backyard, literally.
Yeah.
Like a football field away the way the crow flies.
Is it the Brandon one?
Yeah, in my backyard. Now, look, I am a wait and see guy. Because I've watched the documentaries or I've seen the news specials about the ones in that county, what's the county in
Loudoun
Virginia?
County,
Loudoun
Virginia.
County, Virginia.
Yeah.
Where it's like the data center capital. Now, there's different types of data centers.
Yes.
Right. There's different types of cooling systems.
Yep.
And they got screwed over there.
Oh, they did.
They got screwed over
and
there.
The XAI one up in North Mississippi, they did them dirty on that one too.
That's not necessarily. They were using temporary generator things. They've been pulled. They're putting in the permanently installed ones. That was a big fuss made about nothing. But that people are never gonna. It's Elon, and it's a black city like Memphis, and they got a whole nother battle going on up there because of redistricting. There's a whole lot of factors at play.
My issue is what was that they told them we weren't going to do this. Then they doubled the generators, and they didn't get inspections done for that. But they technically didn't have to because they were temporary. Right. But I mean, you could have at least said, "Hey, we're about to do this." That's just the thing. The thing is, and I told the folks who tried to do the Forest Avenue, I said, "God." Like I came on the station on almost every show and said, "Hey, we're trying to host a meeting," and the city of Jackson people, mainly Councilwoman Clay, made it almost impossible to get a meeting with them because they were so scared to hurt the feelings of the council by showing up to my meeting because Tina Clay doesn't like me. She was one of the ones egging me on to get rid of my shirt during that council meeting.
Yeah.
So no one really got to hear what was going to happen.
Well, we got a text on the El Salvador text line says put it where the metro is, and I do think that would be a great spot, but. Coming back to like the Lake Hyco,
Yep.
Just from I'm just looking at it simply. I'm removing emotion out of this.
Yep, no emotion.
Let's just look at it from a logistical standpoint, and it's not going to be just a data center. It's going to be the quote I heard: data center hub. That means lots of data centers, and it's the hub because it's got the natural cooling, it's got the natural fencing. It's almost site ready. It's not. You don't got to do the amount of site prep it would take. Fill the pond back up, the cooling pond back up. And you've got that. You've got the water. You've got a lot of. Let's just be honest, bro. They could fill that thing back up with water today. I don't know that a developer is going to come in and drop $1 billion redeveloping that for residential mixed use.
Not at this time, no.
No, I just don't. I think at this point you can go do another man-made lake somewhere, like build a Lake Caroline somewhere in Jackson before you redo Lake Hyco.
Well, South Jackson has some beautiful lakes, actually.
And I grew up there. I know it does, but. You have to go back through and do the old urban farms thing first. You're just gonna have to bulldoze a lot of blocks and blocks of the city. It just ain't no way around it if you want to redevelop South Jackson. But with that said, Lake Hyco, in my opinion, is never going to be residential retail again. It's going to be industrial, if anything, or nature's going to reclaim it. And we're having this conversation again for the next 100 years. I think take advantage of what it does for the 16 section land to begin with. I don't think you're going to get a big development there on 16 section land from private investment like that, like selling houses and whatnot. But I think the data centers work. It's going to bring in a ton of money that can shore up the budget, help with the schools, help with infrastructure. Maybe I'm just seeing it rosy red here. I don't know, but I feel like something's better than nothing. And Jackson just needs something to trigger something good. You need something big, something that can grab a hold to say, "Hey, we got this coming to our city."
Yeah.
Look at all the business that spurred up in Canton with the mega site up there.
Yes.
I mean, I go try to get in Martin's at Livingston at lunchtime. Any of these blue plate places up there at lunchtime. Yeah, that's temporary money.
Yeah.
Well, by temporary, we're talking about 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, every construction project is temporary money.
Yeah, and then I get, does it provide a lot of jobs when they leave? Not necessarily, but what you're hoping is if you're turning it into a hub, it's a 10-year construction project to do this. And what else does that trigger? What other development does that trigger? Oh, look, we got all this new infrastructure out here. We got these new roads. We got this. Oh, look, Amazon's here. Meta's here. It's good enough for them. What kind of business, what kind of deal would Jackson work with me? And then once it gets in and the fear goes away of, oh, these things aren't as bad as we thought they would be. Oh, hell, Jackson's open for business.
I'll tell you what, and it's funny because Horn ran on that very quote. This is the thing. You deal with two fears during these kind of things. You deal with the fear of something bad happening. Well, let's say they're both fears of being left out.
Hold the thought. The thought. Let's go. We're going to take a break real quick before we run over too bad. We're going to pick up on the fears of the data centers or development. We'll be right back with Zach Service, Creston Birch on the Clay Edwards Show. Text the show if you want to talk about it. The Ellis Autoplex text line, 769-241-1944. We may open the phone lines up when we come back too after he gives his thoughts and see what you guys got to say. I know it's a hot topic, and I'm here for 3 hours. So we've got a long one this morning. I'm here till 10. We'll be right back.
This is Central Mississippi's Stimulating Talk.
1039 WYAB, Pocahontas, Jackson.
Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show, 1039 WYAB. This segment brought to you real quick here by our friends over at, how about my buddies right there at, how about, I got to spread the wealth a little bit here. How about our friend right downstairs here, Mr. Shelter Insurance Agent Extraordinaire himself, Mr. Jamie Krill. I talked about Jamie a good bit this weekend, out and about, talked about insurance a good bit while I was out and about. Guys, if you are a small business owner and you have a little fleet of vehicles and you haven't called Jamie to see what money he can save you, shame on you. He is saving some folks up to 50, 60, 70,000 a year on their fleet insurance for their vehicles. He's just want to bring it back down to the businesses. I mean, to individuals, their home, their cars. My parents, simple home, one home, two cars, saving them $10,000 a year. I'm serious. I think we should press charges on their previous insurance agent for stealing from my parents for that long. I mean, that is just asinine. We'd have $50,000 in the bank if we had caught this 5 years ago and switched over to Jamie Creel. But I digress. Don't let that happen to you. Yeah, maybe you trust your insurance agent. Maybe you're getting the best deal, but don't you want to know you're getting the best deal? Let him shop your rate for you. You have nothing to lose at all. Google him, Jamie Creel, Creel, Shelter Insurance. He's got 2 offices, one right here in Florida at the Cotton Exchange Plaza, one in Ridgeland right there over by Fleet Feet and all that at Trace Station. That's Jamie Creel, Shelter Insurance Agent Extraordinaire. Home, life, car, auto. Need renter's insurance? You're not a homeowner? I got it. It's very affordable. If anything happens, what little bit I do own is going to be replaced or covered. And that is just a great peace of mind for pennies on the dollar a month. So check them out today. Jamie Creel, Shelter Insurance Agent. Get you a little life insurance for you and your family with no medical check, no blood work, none of that. For I think up to about $100,000. Don't quote me on that. I've got one on me and my daughter that required no medical test or anything, no physicals. What I'm looking for here. A lot of stuff out there available like that to give you and your family the protection you guys need. Shelter Insurance, Jamie Creel. All right, man, we got about 7 or 8 minutes left here with these two great guests here this morning. We have Creston Birch here with me all the time over there on the internet. And we have Zach Service back in here for the first time in well over a year. And great to have Zach. Now, Zach, you're not a stranger to WYAB. You'll be filling in for Kim Wade this Friday.
Yep, this Friday.
4 to 6.
Filling in. Yep, might play a little music again. I like to keep it light sometimes a little bit.
Well, I'm with it, man.
Balance out all the politics.
I asked a question the other day on my Facebook. I was like, what if? Let's just pretend we had all the proper music licenses here and I could do it. What if we played a couple songs on the Clay Edwards show? Like one per segment, 4 segments an hour. So we played 3 or 4 songs. I would love to be able to mix in a little music. A, it helps tell a story sometimes. B, it helps change the mood sometimes when you ain't got as much to talk about. I like to do a little music and storytelling. I love those storyteller episodes where people tell you how they wrote the song and all that. One day, man, we'll do a little music and talk around here. But until then, but you'll be, we can do written stuff, non-licensed music.
I'll be able to do my stuff because of mine.
Yeah, sure, right, 100%.
I won't sue the station for playing it.
So good stuff there. So you'll be
a for violating my rights, though.
4 to 6 Friday.
Yep.
All right. So circling back to the data center stuff, you said the 2 fears.
Yeah, 2 fears. There's the fear of being left out and left out. The fear of being left out of the discussion, and the fear of being left out of the profit.
I'm going to say the progress of the profit.
Yep. Yeah. And the people with good intentions are afraid of being left out of the discussion. The people with bad intentions or selfish intentions, which is still bad in my opinion. If your self-serving intentions do not serve the interest of others, I would consider them bad. I think otherwise it's just sinful. But if it's going to be self-serving and help people, at least you're helping people, right? Everybody's benefiting, everybody's eating. But if I'm only here for me and I don't care how it affects others, now we got a problem. And that's the thing. Now we are finding out the hypocrisy of this, because I wasn't pro or anti-data center. I think people need to understand we already have data centers in Jackson. They don't even realize there's one in the E Center, the JSU E Center.
Gerard Gibbert.
Yeah, he did that one. And I didn't know that. But guess what? By talking with the guy, instead of just going on social media saying stuff I don't know, I asked questions and I got crucified for asking questions. I said, before I draw conclusions, let's ask.
I got a whole interview with him that I did about it.
Really?
About his whole life, and the East Center was a big part of it. How that whole thing came about, it's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, then talking with Gerard was like very eye opening because
Allstate donated that building.
Yeah,
and the East Center, it's very interesting how it all works.
And this is the thing, folks have so much fear and animosity towards people that look like who hurt them. They don't realize that if they would just have a conversation and get rid of whatever their prejudice is about that person's intentions, they could actually discover how things actually are going. Like they say, why don't we just put a data center here? That's one of the only problems about electing politicians, and one of the reasons why our founding fathers had so many debates about aristocracy, because back then education rates were so low. If you weren't aristocratic, you didn't know what you were talking about when it came to business. And if you got to make decisions for a nation, it could be detrimental to your economy. Now we have a much more educated populace in America, and yet we keep electing people who don't understand how business works.
Well, not all educations are good.
Oh, that is also true. But folks don't
some of it's
understand
indoctrination.
what is a data center looking for. Like, why can you not just stick it wherever you feel like it? Because it needs a massive amount of different resources in place. You need a power grid in place. Some of them need water in place. It needs to be zone industrial. It needs to be close to the interstate because that's where all the fiber optic lines are run down.
That, and it needs a large footprint.
Yes, and at the same time, they don't understand that there are ways to do it that don't infringe on your rights, that don't cause crazy noise pollution, that don't require water. You do got to hold that company responsible, though, because otherwise they'll choose the cheaper option, which is water. But the company that's trying to do the Forest Avenue one, for example, they tried to write ordinances to create what's not there so that they could regulate themselves, so that we would let them do the data center and we wouldn't play ball. But we'll play ball for Hawkins Field if they want to do that. We'll play ball for Lake Hyco. It's hypocrisy because certain folks couldn't get a cut of the Forest Avenue project, and that's the only reason they're against it.
Paint me shocked.
So I left my paint can at home.
What's the timeline? That's where I'm a little in the dark on. Is what's the timeline? I know they got this imaginary moratorium up for the next few months. When will we get a decision on the first data center moving dirt in Jackson?
I'll be honest. I think the decision's already been made.
Yeah,
I think we're just going to have to wait.
Let me rephrase that. When is it official? When will this get announced? Do you think? If you look into your crystal ball,
if it was me, they got to get enough people to accept it first.
Yeah,
or it'll be political suicide. So I would say 1 to 2 years.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen.
I think they're going to let Prado because Prado tried to do it in Jackson, I believe, but they're trying to push them over the county line. And the crazy thing is they keep saying, if it's over the county line, it still affects your environment.
That's the part I don't understand.
It's an imaginary line.
It is. It's
only they're the ones who get the $100 million instead of us.
Well, look,
they're the ones who get to regulate it instead of us.
I'm telling you. Let me tell everybody in Jackson now. Y'all are going to be left out, and all these data centers are going to surround you. It's going to do.
And we'll have no say in it.
You'll have no say in it. You won't get no money from it.
Yep.
And the communities around you will continue to grow, and people
and we will continue to say they'll never invest in Jackson.
And people from Jackson who can afford to will continue to leave it to go into the communities that offer a higher quality of life, sidewalks, safe gas stations, shopping, restaurants, better schools, so on and so forth. Because y'all are being lied to by people, you're having your emotions played with by people who are only in it for themselves. I'm telling you, it's Clay Edwards, the certified grade A, alleged #1 hater of Jackson. Y'all are fools if you do not start getting in on this data center game in some way, form, or fashion, because these things are a flash in the pan. This not going to be these in 10 years. These ain't going to be available to be built anywhere. You know what I mean? They're going to be regulation, and they're not going to do, and they're going to have about all the ones they need for the most part if they do this right. Because Elon's going to start putting them in space. And they're not even going to be down here on Earth. They're going to be floating around like a big satellite.
Crazy to me.
On the moon, all these other places, and you're going to have missed the opportunity of the biggest construction boom in our lifetimes since World War II.
Yep.
If you miss out on these data centers now.
I said it's like this is the new industrial revolution.
It is. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show, 103.9 WYAB. Welcome back in as we land the plane for hour 2. Keep in mind, I'm going to be here for a whole nother hour. Andrew Gosser is going to come sit in with me for the first time in a minute and catch up on some things. But I want to say thank you to Creston Birch for sitting in today. Creston will be back in a few days. He's got some stuff he's got to do. And I want to thank our guest, Mr. Zach Service, for coming in and talking about his lawsuit, chopping it up about Jackson, chopping it up about these data centers. I learned more today than I just haven't been quite in the loop on the Jackson data center stuff. It's kind of a 30,000 foot view. I learned a lot about it today. Zach, thank you. 30 seconds, brother. How can they find you? When will you be back on the radio? All that good stuff.
Yeah, so I'll be hosting the Kim Wade Show this Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. right here on WYAB. You can find me on all social media platforms, Zach Service, ZACHSERVIS. And you can find news articles about me with Clearing Ledger, Jackson Jambalaya in this lawsuit. My goal is not to hurt the city of Jackson. My goal is to hold the government of Jackson accountable for violating our First Amendment rights.
All right. I will be back here in 7 minutes for a whole nother hour. Thank you guys for coming in. Y'all don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. Hold on 1 second. Hey, if you're watching on X, I gotta close it and restart X. But other than that, we'll be right back. Like I said, I got to reboot X, or I can't use my clips. Yada yada yada. It's technical. It's on my end, not y'all's. But I got to reboot X. Other than that, if you're watching on YouTube, Rumble, or Twitch, stay tuned. We ain't going nowhere. We got a whole nother hour this morning.
I'm Brian Clark. President Trump told Fox News he's in no hurry to make a deal with Iran, even as the 60-day period for the U.S. and Iran to reach an agreement expires. Mick Mulroy is a former Defense Department official and ABC News contributor.
It doesn't look like we're close at all. In fact, the situation now is almost entirely focused on the Strait of Hormuz, which, of course, wasn't an issue before the war started, but now it has become not only the main focal point, but basically the primary discussion at large.
President Trump's business dealings are facing new scrutiny after his own Treasury Department approved a bank charter for a crypto company that has ties to the Trump family. ABC's Jay O'Brien explains.
It's a move that could be lucrative, opening the door for potentially higher profits that go directly to the Trump family's expanding cryptocurrency empire. The decision coming from the Treasury's Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, run by a Trump appointee.
A World Liberty Financial spokesman said the institution's embracing regulation, not running from it. The Supreme Court this morning rebuffed President Trump's push to throw out a $5 million finding that he sexually abused writer E. Jean Carroll at a department store in the 1990s and then later defamed her. Lawyers for the president had asked the court to reconsider its initial refusal to hear the appeal. Cleanups underway in Indiana as record flooding took a deadly toll. ABC's Alex Perez is in Carmel.
At least 7 people have been killed, including a 4-year-old boy, after several days of torrential rain and flash flooding inundated the state. Emergency crews conducting dozens of water rescues. At one point, at least 150,000 without power. Streets turned to rivers, roads washed away.
Actress Hayden Panettiere died in South Carolina Sunday at 36. She had been open about her struggles with addiction and postpartum depression. You're listening to ABC News.
That'll be 84.52.
Perfect. Grab the bags, honey. Mom, why do you always check your phone before we pay?
I'm just claiming my cash back on the Upside app. Since we're getting the groceries here and we filled up the car on the way, I've already earned enough this morning to pay for that pizza night we're having Friday.
Wait, so the app pays for pizza?
Not exactly, but the cash I earn on stuff we need helps us pay for the stuff we want. It's just a little win for our family every week.
Get more out of your everyday. Upside is the free app that gets you cash back on routine purchases like gas, groceries, and dining out at more than 100,000 locations nationwide. No points, no rebates, just cash back straight to your wallet. Download the free Upside app and use promo code ACT5 to get a $5 bonus on your first purchase. That's promo code ACT5 to get a $5 bonus. Remember, use promo code ACT5.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to Upside.
Local news and weather brought to you by Mississippi Energy Services. We're your fast, affordable, and friendly generator service company. msenergy.us. msenergy.us.
Feeling like you're walking into a sauna when you go outside? Well, the National Weather Service agrees, and they've issued an extreme heat warning for today for this part of central Mississippi and for most of the state. And that is because the heat indices are expected to reach 105 and above. The actual high temperature for today is 98 with a heat index at 106. The low tonight, 76, and it's mostly clear. Tuesday, it's up to 98 again. You've got news on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis. And it's not only the heat that has a grip on Mississippi, it's the rising gas prices going up again over the weekend. The national average is now back above $4 and is $4.02, says Gas Buddy. The state average has gone up correspondingly and is now $3.56 per gallon. You may remember hearing about the death of 23-year-old McKinley Sawyer in Yazoo City back on July 29th. That is the one that inspired the curfew that happened there. His body was discarded beside a car on Webster Street there after he was shot. Yazoo County Sheriff Jeremy Bull McCoy now says that his department has made 4 arrests in that killing. When a homeless man was walking through the parking lot of CSL Plasma Saturday morning on Brook Drive, which is just south of Northside, he was hit by a van. His leg was broken. He also had other injuries. The person driving the van did not bother to stop, say Jackson police. Now they are looking for whoever was driving it and would appreciate some tips. In Lafayette County, it was a wreck Friday afternoon that killed 19-year-old Chloe Johnson of Abbeville. But the person who was riding in the car with her when it crashed on County Road 103 is still critical. Authorities there say they were able to get the 2 women out of the car just before it caught fire. More news in 1 hour on 103.9 WYAB.
John Ravenstein, let me get this right. You've been in the jewelry business for 50 years, and to celebrate, you're putting half the store at half price? Well, now you've got my full attention.
Good. And put it on your calendar. I'm John.
And I'm Corey Ravenstein with our biggest sale ever.
We've taken half the store and marked everything to half price.
Because it's John Ravenstein's 50th anniversary, half off, half the store sale at Juniker Jewelry Company. Saturday, August 15th through Saturday, August 22nd.
Almost $7 million in diamonds, designer jewelry, colored gemstones, diamond fashion, pearls, and antique jewelry.
Even pieces in our Mississippi Heritage Collection.
Half of our store, it's all half price.
Half off diamond engagement rings and wedding bands.
Get that gift of a lifetime for half price.
But hurry. John's 50th anniversary sale at Juniker Jewelry Company. Half off, half the store, August 15th through the 22nd, only at Juniker Jewelry Company. Mississippi's direct diamond importer, 1485 Highland Colony Parkway in Madison, and junikerjewelry.com.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are the individual views and opinions of the people expressing them and do not necessarily reflect those of this radio station, its parent, affiliated, or related entities, agents, or employees.
It's time for The Full Story with your host, Matthew Bishop. Matt's back on the WYAB airwaves. And now, the host of The Full Story, Matthew Bishop.
Welcome back in to hour 3 of the Clay Edwards Experience today, but this is the Matt Bishop Show. We're filling in for Matt Bishop or Matthew Bishop, so technically welcome into the Matt Bishop or Matthew Bishop Show. As always, regardless of which show I'm on, I'm powered by those free testosterone screenings over at Live Better Men's Health and Wellness. You can text my name, CLAY, to 601-633-9337. 601-633-9337. Text Clay and you will get you a free testosterone screening from Live Better Men's Health and Wellness. Sitting here in the studio with me, we got my good friend, Mr. Andrew Allgosser. No breaks for the first time in a minute. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How you doing, my brother?
Good. I said for the first time in a minute. You were actually in here with me last week for a minute.
Yep.
Appreciate you jumping in. I know we normally do the second hour, but I had a couple guests. Third hour opened up. It just worked out.
Amazing how it works out like that.
It is funny how that works out. I pulled up Facebook to do something, and I forgot exactly what I was going to do. Oh, yeah. I was going to look at a sponsor or something. I wanted to see something, but anyway, I'll circle back to it. Hey, real quick, you're looking for somewhere to eat today. We've told you about McBee's. We've told you if you're new here, McBee's has got the Rotel chicken spaghetti today at their in their Ridgeland location, right there on Lake Harbor Drive. It's the Rotel chicken spaghetti. If you're looking for Martin's, you're going to be at either Martin's location, Livingston or Jackson downtown. You've got the fried or grilled pork chop today, and you can't go wrong with either one of those. Also, well, that's really it on our restaurants there, isn't it? Well, we got Cypress Point. I'll tell you about them a little bit later. So I'll tell you what, let's all just get the party started. How about that?
Let's do it.
Let's just get the party started. And we got another hour. We can talk all about our great sponsors throughout the hour. Andrew.
Yes, sir.
Were you listening to any of our data center talk?
I wasn't. I was getting my show all set to go. But if you give me a quick recap, I have been following the data center issue.
All right, data centers in Jackson. We're talking about Lake Hyco, the 16th section land where it was a commercial, residential recreational lake for years until desegregation. The city leaders at the time said, if you desegregate, we're going to close all the pools and lakes and recreational stuff. And they did. To their credit, they promises made, promises kept. They did. Like the Jackson Yacht Club was out there. They had to move. So you had this beautiful multi-thousand acre lake. They got turned into an Entergy cooling station. Well, for MP&L at the time, Mississippi Power, eventually Entergy cooling station. And man, just this huge waste that could have been developed into a lakefront property in Jackson. Well, they finally closed the cooling station, dismantled it, and instead of the lake being repurposed for recreational and development, residential development, commercial development, sat there empty, drained, and now they're talking about using it for a data center hub. And had you told me 5 years ago, I would have been like, "Oh hell no! It needs to be repurposed for recreational and all the good things that can come from a large body of water in the middle of a city."
Yep.
But now I see that it was probably most likely done with the data centers in mind. Playing it forward a little bit, and it's going to be not just a data center hub, because of the water supply and everything that's right there. It's industrial. It's right by the interstates. There's fiber. It's a ready-made setup. They're not going to have to do a large majority of the infrastructure type work to get up and running. I think they can have this thing going a little bit quicker than most. I know still got a lot of dirt to move, don't get me wrong, but I think they can have them up and running pretty quick. And I'll be honest, I'm not just this like put a data center everywhere guy, but I do think this is an opportunity, because if Jackson don't do it, they're going to bring it right over into the counties and do it.
Yep.
Like
Madison
and this is right there on the county line, by the way.
Yeah.
So where they're right mega centers they're building along the parkway there. I think it would be foolish of Jackson to suffer all the negatives that data centers allegedly bring and reap none of the benefits. Because if they just move it right across the street, if there's any environmental concerns, whether it be sound, water, any of that, you're going to suffer all of those. But but financially, your city, your home is going to get zero in tax benefit from it. At least allow it to be used so your schools can benefit, your infrastructure can prosper, your roads can be repaved. And it can be something for Jackson to say, you know what, it ain't the dream mega project we want. It ain't the retail. It's not the super mall. It's not this thing that we all want. But you know what? It's a start.
I will say this, that with data centers, it is from the recovering politician's point of view, it's definitely a way to go, because you're getting all sorts of capital investment and then continuous tax revenue coming from the data centers. But I look at data centers a little bit differently. I think the data centers that are being built right now today are all going to be obsolete within 5 years through something called StarMind. You've heard of Starlink, you heard of Starship, Neuralink, Boring Company. But Elon's got this figured out to where he can put it on a spaceship, put it in a high geosynchronous orbit using Starlink for the data communication to link it all back. And it doesn't go ahead and submit us all to EMF waves. And there's been a lot of studies about this, especially where I grew up. They had a lot of schools near high voltage power lines. and there were cancer clusters. And I'm not saying that's what's happening at data centers, but I am saying that there's a lot of electromagnetic forces going on at data centers. There's a lot of ground compute going on there. And, it's not even that this is opinion, Clay. We've seen what data centers do to local water supplies. And I'm not familiar with that lake and how much water is going to go through there, and if it's going to be enough to actually cool
Well,
the
it's
data
completely
center.
drained right now. They're going to refill it.
So that's going to be interesting. And how big is the lake? 1,000-acre lake? Did you say it was?
Let me go back and Google it while
Well,
you're talking.
yeah. So you're going to have to fill that up. We're already in a drought. If I'm looking at it from a government revenue perspective, I'm all for it. If I'm looking at it from a humanity point of view, I would say let's really make sure this is what we want to do, because there's a lot of stuff going on with data centers that isn't being publicly reported unless you go out and search it. And then as soon as you go out and you do your own research and you start finding things that contradict what the government narrative is saying, now you're targeted as just a crazy person, tinfoil conspiracy hat wearing kind of person. Not good.
No. When you said that we know the negatives to the water supply, what are those negatives?
So in Georgia, they built a massive data center and they put it right next to a residential area. And you can go look this up online. I wish I could remember. Me and names of cities are not good, but these homes in these communities, these are nice homes too. $250,000, $300,000 homes in suburbia Georgia, not just schleps.
Sure.
They don't have water pressure. They can't flush their toilets. They can't take showers and these have been all documented on the major news stations. And the data center is continuing to go, and it's because the government monster wants that revenue. Clay, the revenue is absolutely incredible. I'm not sure what the revenue projections are on this data center in Jackson.
123 million, I believe, is the number. It just so happens to be the exact budget shortfall number.
Oh, just perfectly, right? Within $1 million. That's astounding to me. I think that's actually kind of low for a data center. I think the city of Jackson's getting played a little bit if it's only 123 million. What did Canton get? Didn't Canton get in the billions?
Yeah, I'm not sure. To answer your question about Lake Hyco, I was a little off. It is approximately 360 to 500 acres of surface area when full, and the overall property around is 640 acres.
Okay. So, that's still a big lake. I've got a 4-acre lake in my backyard, and that's a lot of water.
And 16 section land too.
Yep. And look, we're not going to see any really nice development coming into Jackson anytime soon. I could see industry and commercial, but residential and retail, that's gone way of the dodo bird. I don't ever think we'll ever see that again.
I don't either. That's what I was talking with Zach and Creston about in the last couple hours. Was I think Jackson has to decide: are you in on the industrial bandwagon, getting this kind of stuff, or are you in on the nothing bandwagon? Because the major entertainment destination hub, retail hub, it's not coming. It's not. Jackson needs to be a job hub. And just understand that people are going to come here to work, just like they come to work in the medical field. People are going to come to Jackson to work, and they're probably going to leave and go back home to their bedroom community, and that's fine. But you may have a chance of keeping them here, because here's the deal: if these data centers blow up out there, because it's going to be a data center hub, not just a data center, it's going to be the hub for it. So they can build them all around and use that water and stuff and that fiber that's piped in there, because you got this whole 220 corridor here.
Yep. And
that's where it will be effective. It's this 220 corridor through Jackson, which is basically wasteland in the big picture. If you could turn that into data centers, a big data center hub through there, then it makes that property through there worth a lot of money. And a lot of these little properties are owned by little small mom and pop and small people. And a lot of people could, acquire some generational wealth selling their property to these data center people, more than they would ever get otherwise.
Absolutely.
Let's just say that. Maybe not millions and millions for every lot, but they will get a lot more money than the $50,000 the little shotgun shack might be worth. Now, let's take a call here real quick. Hey, thanks for staying on hold. You on there?
Man, just listening to y'all the last 5 minutes has completely changed the reason I called in. I called in to say, let's stop giving these data centers tax breaks. But the more I listened, I'm like, I wonder if this was a whole plan, like maybe a 10-year plan to make Jackson as run down as they possibly could, to make this land as cheap as it possibly could be.
Would not
so these
surprise me a
data
bit.
centers can come in here and get for pennies on a dollar.
You know, I said it for years, brother. I said, there's got to be a reason why they're running Jackson down, what Lumumba did for years. There's got to be a bigger reason. And maybe I'm giving them too much credit. Maybe they're just idiots and they were just short-sighted and stealing every little penny they could along the way. But
I don't think that's it.
And it ain't just Jackson, right? It's other Democrat cities just like Jackson that are all on the same timeline of turning into third world hellholes where people are literally sitting there saying, just sitting there saying,
well, all the value's gone. They run everybody out. They turn the crime up so that even if you wanted to save Jackson, you literally can't, because if you wanted to stand up for yourself, you're going to get beat down and arrested.
And you're at the point where people are just saying, let's bulldoze entire blocks. I mean, those words are coming out of my mouth about South Jackson for the last 5 years.
And if you bulldoze it, guess what you've done? You've made the perfect pad for our AI center.
Yep.
And at this point, for the most part, who would argue, hey, would you rather continue to have a bunch of trap houses and a third world hellhole, unpoliceable community, or would you rather have a data center that at least brings in some property tax money?
Well, a data center doesn't care if it gets held up by gunpoint because it doesn't know. So, you know.
What are your thoughts on the data centers? Where do you stand with it?
So where I'm at is, I know these hyperscale systems, they put off the same amount of heat as 23 nuclear bombs a day. And you can Google that. You can look it up on any of your AIs you want to. Look up hyperscale data centers heat exchange. It's the same as 23 Hiroshimas every day. It's going to change the environment around every data center. Whether you like them or you don't like them, that's just a fact.
And I'll go a step further. Not only are places going to bake, and you will feel it, especially if they have to use jet propulsion turbine energy production. But you look at how the area is going to bake. You're going to look at how that hot air is going to affect the weather patterns. I mean, you're going to actually be able to see it in weather charts.
Oh yeah, whenever you pull up your local map to see if it's going to rain today, you're going to see these heat spots over the hyper. I don't know about the smaller ones, but the hyperscales. And there's this viral video of this guy going around that apparently makes data centers, and he's saying that water is not even needed to cool these. It's just more expensive to do it without water.
Yep.
And they're just wanting to burn through the water just to get that, a cheap, a year or two of cheap compute.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's true or not. I've never built a data center, but I wouldn't put it past them.
There's a data center actually in Maryland that predicts they'll never see snow again because of all the heat that's being put out by that thing in Maryland.
Well, I don't know, man. I'm not ready to go there with all this yet. I'm a little bit wait and see. We've got a ton of them there in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
70 or so of them in that small footprint. Let's look at that. I know some of those have been built with these louder turbines and stuff too, and the people are really unhappy because they basically, I'm just blown away at the zoning they did there. They built these things basically in the middle of neighborhoods. They didn't put the houses around the data centers. They put the data centers around the houses.
Same in Georgia.
I'm just blown away that was allowed. And look, they're doing it right here basically in downtown Brandon. Now, granted, it's off Highway 18, but I mean, you've got the school a half mile down the road. You've got the downtown Brandon subdivisions. You've got, I hate to say this and people get mad at me, but you kind of got the black part of Brandon, the west and the west Sunset there, backs right up to those neighborhoods. I'm just really interested to see, how this whole thing shakes out. And all the board of supervisors swear that this one uses recycled water. It's going to run. You're never even going to hear it running. It uses all the latest and greatest technology. And I am wait and see on it. And if that is all true, great. But man, the reports I'm hearing everywhere else don't match up.
On the recycled water part, everything I'm hearing. All right, so basically, just think of the cooling system as a radiator on your car, right? It goes through, it cools it off, whatever. Everything I'm hearing is the water goes through all these cooling ports, like your radiator, but it gets injected with different chemicals that help it cool off, like antifreeze or whatever. And then by the time it's done, the chemicals are so concentrated that they get flushed back out into the river, and it is just a nightmare for the environment. I don't know that to be true. I just know that who people I listen to, that's what they're saying.
Well, there's this pond, this cooling reservoir they're building around this one doesn't dump back to any reservoir or doesn't dump back to any river. I mean, it's 100%
closed loop.
So we'll have to see. Hey, look, we got to take a break, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Have a good one.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back. We'll keep the phone lines open, 601-879-0002. Got Andrew Gosser, got Clay Edwards filling in for Matthew Bishop. We'll be right back. 103.9 WYAB. welcome back in to the Matthew Bishop. Man, I'm just terrible with names. You would think we'd have a list of everybody that worked here on the wall. Matthew Bishop Show. Thank you, man.
Yep.
Depending on what day of the week it is, it's 9 o'clock hour. It's a bit of a hodgepodge at times.
Yep.
The Matt Bishop Show here on WYAB. You got Andrew Gosler sitting across from me, and I am Clay Edwards, and we are live here. We're powered by those free testosterone screenings over at Live Better Men's Health and Wellness. Text Clay 601-633-9337. Is that right? That's what I was looking up, man. Like I've said a phone number so many times, Andrew.
Yeah.
That I've said it so many times, and I give out so many phone numbers here that sometimes I'm like, am I saying the right number? I was looking it up real quick, and we're going to jump back in. We got a caller on hold.
Yep.
This is such a hot topic. Yes. So 601-633-9017. I've been giving the number out wrong. 601-633-9017. Text Clay to that number, and you're going to get hooked up with a free testosterone screening from our friends over at Live Better Men's Health and Wellness out in Gluckstadt, Mississippi, and you will not regret it. Let's jump back to the phone line real quick.
Let's do it.
Hey, thanks for staying on hold. You're on there. Calling about data centers.
Guys. Yeah, it's about data center. I live with a data center here they're going to build right here on 18. I live, as the crow flies, about 1 mile or less from my home.
Same with me. I'm right there off of was it Jackson? Not Jackson. What?
No, 18. We're Brandon 18.
Yeah, no. What's the name of the street that the dang old high school's on? The middle school, Jackson Street.
Oh, you're talking about College Street.
College Street, not Jackson. Yeah, I'm right over off College my dang self. So I mean, it's right by me too.
Yeah, and so and unfortunately, we're going to be double cooked here in Brandon. You know, we already got the Doppler radar right off I-20, which they use to check the weather with. But what it is a heat. All it does is create heat. You know, I called last year with the facts about how our governor, C. Hyde Smith, used that thing to create the artificial high pressure for 8 months and created the drought that cooked us a couple of years ago. It didn't rain for 8 months. Well, that was done on purpose by the Doppler radar over here. The FCC allowed them to run it at a high frequency. You have to ask permission. You just can't go up there and turn this damn thing up, right? When they check out weather in the morning, they use between 250,000 and 450,000 watts. Rotate it around a circle, which you see on your TV, and it goes about 120, 150 miles out, you know, according to how much there. But if they crank it up any higher, it creates an artificial high pressure, which cooks our asses, right? Between that Doppler radar and the new data center over here, he may not ever snow or rain in Brandon ever again. I'm already prepared to move out to 43. I already got a place eyeballed out there, so when they build this thing, I've been living in Brandon nearly 30 years, but they finna run my butt out of Brandon. I get tired of it. Like after the data center, the humming and the heat, plus the Doppler over here, man. Look, I'm gonna bring some facts, guys. I'm not on the Doppler. I'm gonna bring y'all the facts from the Florida Sky Watchers, who monitors its magnitude readings daily, and they can tell if they're operating to check the weather or to fry, create artificial high pressure to control the weather. And with that, guys, I'm out. I live close. I'm going to give you updates on all this.
Appreciate it, brother. I always enjoy that fellow's calls.
You want to know something? You know, I flew on AWACS, and we had a multi-megawatt radar on top, the Oreo cookie on top.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something to be said with what that gentleman is saying. We, unfortunately, all of this technology with megawatt radio waves, Doppler radar.
Good thing we're megawatt here.
Yeah, we're megawatt. That's even crazier than mega. But there's some research out there that backs up what this dude's saying, but there's so much more that we don't know. And that's where I think I'm starting to fall on more and more is I want the benefits of technology, but I'm wondering what it's going to do to our humanity and what it's going to do to our kids. Look, these guys coming back from Abraham Lincoln, 260 some odd days at sea, there are going to be a lot of kids born, and I bet you 98% are going to be girls. The men, sperm, they're just gone. And I mean, I've watched this since 1991 in 4 cruises, and the amount of radio frequency RF that you've been subjected to, a man's testicles just have different gravy coming out the other end. It affects that. And if it's doing that to sperm, what's that going to do to women? What's that going to do to those kids who are born not just in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, but generations down the way. We don't know what we're getting into, and it's just going quicker and quicker. And I'm not trying to be like this doom and gloomer. I'm very hopeful and optimistic, but at the same time, we cannot deny what's happening. I live in Terry, and that drought that we had 2 years ago, completely unnatural. Completely unnatural. I've never seen anything like that. My neighbor who's lived there for over 60 years, he's over 88. He never saw anything like that. And he's been here a while. When the old timers start saying they ain't seen nothing like this, it's time to start paying attention to them, you know?
Oh yeah, no doubt. So look, I Googled Grok.
Yep.
And look, obviously Grok has a vested interest in data centers.
Yep.
So never underestimate that, no matter how much you trust a source. If you're asking AI about AI data centers, reliability, dependability, and safety, just know that they're biased.
Absolutely.
But I asked Grok, I was like, what about the comparison to the nuclear bombs? Kind of working our way down. Well, the original question was just for full context here. Gosh, dang, it gave a lot of information.
Yep.
I said, what is the heat exchange for a hyperscale data center? It gave me a bunch of blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And didn't see anything about nuclear bombs.
Yep.
So I said, well, what about comparison to nuclear bombs?
Mhm.
Here's what it says here. The main quote nuclear bomb comparison floating around hyperscale data centers refers to continuous waste heat output, not explosive power or radiation.
Correct.
So digest that how you will. A physics professor at Utah State University, Robert Davies, calculated that a proposed ultra-large hyperscale project in Box Elder County in Utah, the Stratus Project. Man, all these things have these kind of scary names, don't they? The Stratus Project.
Yeah.
It sounds like something out of a movie where it went terribly wrong and they got to try to fix it now. It says the Stratus Project would reject heat equivalent to roughly 23 atomic bombs worth of energy every single day into the local environment. How that number is derived. The project was described as potentially drawing up to -9 gigawatts of electrical power. Nearly all of that electricity ultimately becomes heat, accounting for the associated generation and the total thermal load estimated at around 16 gigawatts. I assume that's what GW is.
Mhm.
In some analysis, the continuous heat rejection into a confined desert valley was framed as energetically comparable to detonating about 23 Hiroshima-scale bombs daily. The point of the analogy was to convey the sheer scale of concentrated heat dumping, something that could raise local temperatures, daytime and especially nighttime, and stress the local ecology watershed rather than implying any literal explosion or nuclear process. Similar energy scale comparisons appear for other massive AI data center campuses when people try to make the continuous gigawatt scale heat loads more intuitive. These are order of magnitude illustrations, not precise physics equivalences of blast effects.
Yep.
And it says other related nuclear analogies you'll see is the power consumption, says large AI infrastructure builds are routinely compared to the output of multiple nuclear reactors, 10 typical large reactors, and go so on and so forth. It's saying these are analogies about just the amount of heat they put off, not necessarily that they'll negatively affect anything one way or another, or that you'll get cooked if you stand beside one.
What'll be really interesting to see is the weather in that valley where that's at.
Right.
In all the heat rejection that has to happen. I mean, energy's got to go somewhere. It's like how when the space shuttle comes through the atmosphere and you've got that plasma buildup, it's bleeding off all that energy. And it's got to go somewhere. And which is why I think Uncle Elon is going to have it right when he puts 1 million data centers in the Earth orbit for 1/800th the cost of a data center here on Earth.
Yep.
It's just going to make sense.
And, and Andrew, that's what I was trying to say in the last hour was Jackson better take advantage of this now, because in 5 years, 10 years at the max,
it's gone.
It's gone. The greatest infrastructure project movement in our country's history, definitely since World War II.
Yep.
With the interstate system, the greatest infrastructure projects in our country's history, if you want to call data centers infrastructure, which I think they are infrastructure, right? For data.
Yep.
So we live in an internet age, so it is infrastructure, regardless of how people want to look at that or not. Right there with water, land, etc. Anyway, Jackson's going to miss the bus, miss the boom, and going to be sitting here in 5 years with nothing to show for it. And you're either going to have big empty data centers in the neighboring communities, or that they won't sit empty. They'll use them for something. But Jackson's going to miss out on a bunch of jobs and a bunch of short-term finances. I don't know. Make your decisions, people, but I think don't waste it.
Think about this. You build all these data centers for the quick and now, but what happens when they become obsolete? Who's going to tear them down? Who's going to reclimate that? And what's going to be the cost to reclimate these data center sites? I mean, some of these data centers are taking up 60 square miles of space. There's one in Indiana that's over 60 square miles. I didn't believe it when I saw it. I'm not going to cuss, but I basically said, you're full of garbage. And showed it right to my face. So, I mean, these are going to be giant, enormous sites, the size of military bases that we're going to have to reclimate. And how much is that going to cost? Is that going to cost more than building the data center in the first place? I don't know, but we're having to make big boy and big girl decisions here really, really quick with the limited data that we got.
I think they keep them online. I think once you've built it, surely it doesn't cost less to keep it active versus moving it to space. I think, yes, he may get some up in space, but it could be a little bit longer before those are running at maximum dependability, reliability, and speed.
You're gonna. What I would say is you can bet against Elon's timeline when he says 5 years, but he has not yet not delivered on something. It's might have taken him longer with Tesla. It might have taken longer with Boring Company or with SpaceX. But
and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm betting against the timeline. I'm hedging my bet against the timeline. I think that if he says 5, I think 10 to 12. I'm not going to say 15, but I think 10 to 12. You get these things up online in 2 to 3. You get some time out of them, and I still think that people will find a way to continue to use them. I don't think they'll just start shutting them down and move all the operations to space. Also think that a lot of these companies aren't going to let Elon have it all.
I agree with that, but when he's already got the FCC rights for the next 50 years, and he owns the rockets, he owns the satellite, he owns production, the gigafactories that he's building to build his own AI chips that he's now resourced through NVIDIA, which is the world's largest AI chip company already. I mean, you just look at it and line it up, and you're like, holy smokes! It's going in that digital age a lot faster than it is slower.
All right, we'll be right back with Andrew Gosser here on the Matthew Bishop Show with Clay Edwards. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. 103.9 WYAB. Welcome back in to the Matthew Bishop Show here on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Clay Edwards filling in for Matthew Bishop with my cohort and daily host here of his own radio show, the Andrew Gosser Show from 10 to noon right here on these very airwaves. He'll be coming up next.
Yep.
As soon as we sign off, he'll sign on limitless will work. Motionless. You won't even know.
Seamless transition.
Seamless is the word I was looking for. Thank you so much.
I
thought I got a good night's sleep tonight. It's my 49th birthday today. I'm officially old. I've forgotten words.
I was about to wish you a happy birthday in the first segment of my show, but since I got you right here, Clay, happy birthday, 49 years.
Thank you.
Dude,
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yep, we'll make it to the big 5-0, all Lord willing and the creek don't rise.
That's right.
I remember being young and surely knew I wasn't going to make it to 40. I was like, figured I would have ended my life one way or another.
I was telling my wife when
by
we
now.
first met that I was like, if I made it to 50, I'd write that check right away. And she took that seriously. So for my 50th birthday, we had a bash at the farm. It was a lot of fun.
I like it, man. I like it. No, man, look, I'm glad to be here. You know, as you get more years under your belt, you know, you become a little more, what's the word? Just disgusted with things. And my patience is less, and I'm less open to hearing the same version of the same old thing over and over. Like, man, look, y'all been telling me the same crap for a long time. You're wrong. I'm not saying I'm right, but you're wrong.
Yeah.
And I know what it's going to take to fix this. Y'all don't want to do it. You're not going to act right. Culture rot, yada, yada, yada. Happy birthday, me.
The culture rot is real. And it's it's going to be one of the things we talk about in my show today is the iPad babies.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, I watched about 17.4 seconds of one video. I'm like, we're cooked.
Yeah.
We're cooked.
Andrew, if you had told me of all the things I've done to kind of agitate the Black community, and to me, it's like I'm trying to motivate, not agitate. But I kind of motivate through agitation. Like, man, we'll prove this guy wrong. We'll shut him up. We'll act right. We'll do, yada, yada, yada. I would have never guessed that the phrase culture rot would be the one that really, really was the jab.
The shiv that really went in deep.
Yeah, like all the FAFO awards, all the all the vowels, first names, the single mom stuff, the fatherless homes, but all that's culture rot, right? And the crime and just all that stuff. But it's the phrase culture rot. I mean, that was the one that they took it personal because they think they own the word culture.
Yeah.
Like nobody else has. They tell us all the time, we don't have culture. We're culture vultures. We steal all their culture. We have what did we build? I don't know everything.
Cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
Well, it's sad because culture rot isn't specific to any ethnicity or race. It's to a way of life.
Well, Andrew, what's the old saying? A hit dog will holler.
Yep.
That's what it is. I said culture rot and a hit dog hollered. Is that the phrase?
I've heard something similar to that, but
a hurt dog will holler or whatever. Anyway, I don't do little stupid sayings like that to begin with, but I've heard them used about me, so I like to regurgitate them every now and then. When you're above target, how about that? I know that one.
When you're taking flack, you're above the target.
Right. They knew who I was talking about when I said culture rot.
Yeah.
Because they know. The only things that make me mad, Andrew, are things that are just absurdly wrong, or things that have a basis of truth around them.
What gets me is the hypocrite. You sit there and you say one thing, and then on the very next day you're going out and doing the exact thing you're complaining about, and you're being a hypocrite. And I think that what's happening with this whole Nolan Wells story, and God rest his soul, but you see people like Ben Crumb and the irreverent Al Sharpton come in and try to monetize this situation, not just for Nolan Wells families, but for themselves. 100%. And it gets everybody all fired up. And we're finding out more and more. You read the stories, the FBI, they're demanding an FBI third investigation after the second autopsy. So that means the body's going to go through a third autopsy. And, when you talk to anybody who's gone through and observed an autopsy like that, it ges more degraded every time you
Well,
do it.
We have two breaking news stories concerning Nolan Wells this morning.
Oh, what's that?
The first one is NAACP joins legal team in death investigation of Nolan Wells. We'll read a paragraph or two of here. NAACP's Office of General Counsel announced Monday that it is joining the legal team surrounding the death of Nolan Wells. The NAACP, America's oldest and largest civil rights hate organization, is joining the likes of Ben Crump, who is representing the family, as well as Al Sharpton is also involved in the case. Quote, "We're taking up this fight to search for truth and transparency surrounding the death of Nolan Wells," says Kristen Clark, general counsel for the NAACP. Drawing on the association's long history of screwing things up from top to bottom, of pushing for full and fair investigations when Black lives are lost under suspicious circumstances, we will help bring additional investigative resources to bear and work to ensure that no stone is left unturned in seeking answers and accountability for Nolan's family. Nolan, 18, found dead, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then, hold on real quick, Andrew.
Yep.
Before we go to that one, another update is that Nolan Wells, family of Nolan Wells, ready for joint forensic phone inspection, attorney Ben Crump says. And don't forget that this little show right here, well, not this one, my show, broke that whole story last week about the phone having not been turned in yet. And it upset one person so much so that they blocked me on all of social media. And that was surprisingly Sarah Fields.
Really?
Yeah. I think Sarah thought she had that story cornered. And I broke it a couple hours before. And I like Sarah. I was shocked, but I'm trying to piece the puzzle together as to why she would block me, because I've never reached out or communicated with her. I emailed her a while back, asked if she wanted to come on the show. She never responded, whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that must have been what it was. She thought she was the only one with that information, and I beat her to it by a couple of hours. I think it upset her.
Again, this is the hypocrisy of the whole thing. If we're wanting full, open, and upfront investigation, why wasn't the phone turned over as soon as we found it and had the location?
Yeah, I don't know, man. The whole thing's asinine. Well, I do know, because it doesn't have on there that investigation is not going to show what they've claimed. It's not going to show that texts were deleted. It's not going to show that that Snapchat was deleted. And if it was, I think it may end up showing that it was maybe done from within their camp, not the white boys.
It's just, and this has nothing to do with race or ethnicity. This has everything to do with criminal and forensic investigations.
Yep.
And the data is going to be the data, and it's going to end up just causing a bigger wound in our relationship.
We'll be right back in just a minute to land the plane.
Yep.
All right, guys, y'all stay tuned. Andrew Gosser will be coming up here at the top of the hour, 10:07 here on WYAB, or he'll be streaming on his platforms. You can find it, Andrew Gosser, Gasser. I'm going to head home, and I'm going to pick this story up here. These broke during the show. I'm going to have a lot to say about this phone stuff. And I have some theories that I'm willing to float out there, not as fact, they're just theories. I'm not accusing. I'm just going to give theories and of what I think may have happened with that phone beyond them not wanting to turn it in. I think that they deleted some stuff, in my opinion. What we don't know. How did they get in it? Did they have Nolan's password? That would be weird too. I'll see y'all tomorrow, or I'll see you later today right here. Y'all go watch that video I made yesterday about Ellis Autoplex busting up that check ring. It's on my Facebook and YouTube, at Clay Edwards Show on Facebook and at Save JXN on YouTube.